Rivalries reignited.
Historic heavyweights.
The spiciest of derbies.
New kids on the block.
The best leagues in the land are back.
Tom Hitchcock crashes. Tom Hitchcock goes. Tom Hitchcock scores. Leaving it all out there for the fans.
A steamroller has just charged through.
Dynasty, destiny, drama.
Your Women's National League Cup champions.
Future stars set to shine.
Rig, who's been on fire all season.
Champagne rugby? Look no further.
To score one of the most memorable tries.
Durham University are BUCS Super Rugby League champions.
But the truth is, in this league, it's anyone's on the day.
And it's full time. It is 6 wins from 6 for Swansea.
Entertainment guaranteed.
BUCS Super Rugby.
Women's National League.
BUCS Rugby is back.
Well, it doesn't get much better than this. Welcome along to Epinal Way, where we have a first versus second clash this evening. Scott Snedden's all vanquishing Violets up against Alan Flowers' all conquering Crusaders. Cardiff are undefeated on the road so far this season. They've both got 22 table points, and what a table it is. As the dust settled on a quite frankly bananas round 6, 43 tries scored in total over those 5 matches. You could have thrown a BSR tea towel over the runners and riders in this tumultuous league. So this, a straight shootout for top of the table and all the ingredients for an absolute BSR classic. Kickoff is at 7 p.m, so don't you go anywhere. Let's hear from the Loughborough camp. I caught up with head coach Scott Snedden a bit earlier on, but first of all, let's get the thoughts ahead of the season of their captain, Teddy Leatherbarrow.
Teddy Leatherbarrow back in the African Violet. Looking at the prospect of Cardiff at Loughborough, how do you fancy it?
I mean, probably last season Cardiff was a team we were guilty of maybe underestimating. They came on the blocks, and I remember they shocked us with their physicality. They're big lads. They're well drilled. They get round the corner. You know they're coming for you, and if you don't front up to that, then you know you're going to struggle. I think in the second half last year we found our flow a bit more, but you can't be expecting Cardiff to come with anything but 100%.
Packed out Loughborough University for your home games, pumping Sandy Parks, games at the Rec. How much do these big occasions for BUCS Super Rugby elevate you and the boys' games on Wednesdays and Friday nights?
Yeah, that's what you play rugby for. It's kind of the games you remember, the crowds, the whole atmosphere of the night. You don't necessarily remember the game as such, but you remember the whole feeling and the aura around the place. So yeah, it's everything, especially at Epinal Way. We talk about our home record being strong, and that's because of the crowds we get down. We're getting thousands of people down. You can feel it through the whole game. The chanting, singing, shouting. It's what you play for.
You're captaining a university which has an illustrious rugby history. A lot of great names have gone before you. Is there anyone in particular that you look up to who's worn the African Violet before you?
I think I'm going to have to go with Charlie Titcombe, the man. Straight into Worcester Warriors. The man's dialed, to use his terminology. He's very much on it, and I think he'll have a very good season this season. I think he's definitely one to watch out for, and someone that you can look up to for his work rate and his ethic.
Ice in his veins as well when it comes to key kicks.
Yeah, key kicks. On the pitch he's got ice in his veins, but as on the PS4, not so much. He's a bit hot-headed.
We're looking forward to it, mate.
Thanks
for the time, Teddy.
Thank you.
Scott, you suffered your first loss of the season a fortnight ago. 71 points scored in that fixture against Bath, and you fell short by just 1. What did you learn from that experience?
We probably firstly learned that Bath are a good side. They're very much improved on last year. We also learned that we got a fair bit of character within the group, and our sort of ability to chase a score. We know we've got it. We also learned that certain areas of our game have probably got to get better. But yeah, I think it was a learning day for sure. Probably my learning was wear a few more clothes or a waterproof jacket because the weather wasn't the best. But no, it was Yeah, it was a tough loss, but it was a learning day. That, yeah, we've got to be slightly better at set piece, and yeah, we can't afford errors early on and have poor discipline.
You're getting the hang of this Super Rugby thing, and just in your second season, what's been key to the formidable performances that Loughborough are putting out on the park, particularly at home?
I think, well, at home it's a little bit easier because we've had a decent crowd for the last few weeks. Playing in front of 2,000 fans is a lot easier than at home than going away. But I think it's consistency. I think it's consistency in our performance and boys backing up. So just the ability to stay in the game and stay in the moment has probably been a big thing for us over the last few weeks.
Mario Picciardi's just returned from making his Test match debut for Spain and only went and got man of the match in the process. What does that say about your programme, about this setup?
Well, look, I think from the programme's point of view, we're really keen to push guys to play national age grade international rugby, and the fact that the support off field we can provide that is brilliant for Mario to go away and spend 2 weeks in camp, not have to worry about his academics, and then catch up when he gets back, and then go on the field, and all he has to worry about is his rugby, and yeah, not a bad first cap in terms of man of match performance.
And just finally, turning our attention to what is about to take place here at Eppenall Way. Cardiff are in town and they are absolute crusaders on the road this season. How are you going to ruin their bus journey home?
Look, Cardiff have been brilliant for the first 6 weeks. That's right, first 6 weeks of the season. We knew last year they were a good side. They ran us close here and we drew away. So I think we've got to be patient. I think we've got to be disciplined. And I think if we do those things as well as being pretty physical, I think we're probably in for a good game.
Thanks very much, Scott. All the very best. Hope you've got enough layers today. Great to hear from the pair of them, as it is to be alongside Mr. Loughborough himself, one of the voices of BUCS Super Rugby, Dave Rogers, fresh from presenting our women's live stream. Firstly, what a fantastic game that was.
Really, really good, and massive for Hartbury to overcome that first defeat of the season last year, because you never know how a team's going to react. They reacted incredibly well. Lot of work to be done for Loughborough, but Katie Trevathan is the right person for the job. I'm so glad that didn't hit me, because it would have been very embarrassing. But I think they're in a good spot. I definitely think they can push on to the playoffs, but Hartbury are going to take some catching. They look the real deal.
Loughborough are warming up behind us, and we just heard from Teddy Leatherbarrow there at the media day months ago. It feels a long way ago now that it's 5 degrees at a freezing Eppenall Way. He said that last year they were guilty of being complacent against Cardiff, of underestimating them. They won't make that mistake again this year.
No, I don't think they will, and obviously we're all gutted that Teddy's not involved. He's done a hamstring, and he's one of those players in BUCS Super Rugby. The league is better when he is on the pitch. They can't be complacent. I think maybe they were a little bit complacent against Bath, who are just a superb team, and look how that went for them. It was a great game, but they came in second place. It was a second defeat of the season after that opening day loss against Durham. But those 4 games in the middle, they have been absolutely superb. One of the things that a lot of teams, even when they've been winning this year, have found difficult is putting teams to the sword. Loughborough have managed to do that. They've got bonus point wins, and in doing that, they've not conceded any bonus points either. No losing bonus points and no try bonus points. So they're in a good spot. And like Hartbury in the Women's National League earlier, it's a challenge for them today. How do they react from defeat last week?
They've got the stingiest defence in the league. They score tries on a whim. They are prolific in attack this year, and Scott Snedden pointed out that it's 2012 though since they last won a trophy. So square that circle for me. Is this the year they finally lift a pot?
I was at that game.
That is a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It seemed for a long time that Loughborough would be in and around the final. It has been too long. Also, we mentioned Bath and the victory that they got. It feels like it's been too long since Bath have been at the sharp end of the competition too. Look, there's a lot of rugby to be played between now and then, but Loughborough are as good, or certainly playing as well and looking as good as they have done in the BUCS Super Rugby era. So if they're not at that sharp end of either the league or the cup or both, then I think they'll be disappointed.
Very quickly, Dave, because I'm getting wrap-up signals from behind the camera.
So much fun.
I know, it's the worst thing in the world because we could talk about it all day. But just quickly, the Eppenall Way factor, the home crowd advantage. Cardiff undefeated on the road so far this year, but 2,500 came to watch Loughborough beat Nottingham earlier on this season. How much of a difference will that lot make?
Well, a good few thousand went to Sandy Park to watch Exeter beat Cardiff, and
Good
look
point.
how that went. They're a big occasion team. I think the best thing about this Cardiff team, the real USP, is the fact that they stay in the fight. It doesn't matter if they're playing top of the league, middle of the league, or bottom of the league. They have had a draw this year, a 1-point win, a 2-point win, a 4-point loss, a 3-point win, and an 8-point win. They are within a score the whole time. I don't necessarily expect that to change this evening, but Loughborough love doing it under the lights, so watch this space, don't go anywhere. I am so excited for it.
Well, that is the stage set beautifully for everything concerning Loughborough. Let's hear from the opposition now. Alan Flowers, head coach, spoke to me a bit earlier on, but first of all, let's get the thoughts of one of their captains, Ben Chapman.
He's so handsome. Vice captain of this great club. On the pitch, what are you looking forward to this year?
Being able to get across that line with all the friends, coming towards the end of my Cardiff uni experience. I feel like the few that are left with us in fourth year, I feel like we're kind of like finishing it off and like making that path for the new ones. So I feel like it'd be a good enjoyment for last year and kind of see what happens from there.
What about off the pitch? What are you looking forward to this year?
I think it's probably on a similar sort of wavelength, stay on with the boys, kind of see what happens. But going into a Masters, I feel like there'll be a good balance. And then I want to focus this year, see what happens with the rugby afterwards, after university life. So.
Finally then, there are some great players in this league, and it is a league that is cultivating talent. People who are coming from academies, going through university, then becoming full-time pros, people who are arriving as relative unknowns and leaving, playing URC, international, premiership, whatever it is. Are there any players who've particularly impressed you, who've caught your eye, who you think, yeah, they've done really well from BUCS Super Rugby?
Yeah, I feel like from our team last year, we've had quite a few successes. We've had a few gone through. We had Griff Evans, now gone off to Scarlets, Marcus now up with Nottingham. We've had a few boys that have gone off, and a few going off to Cardiff now this year. So I feel like that link with Cardiff is starting to become a bit of a better thing. I think that's going to be now evident as being quite a good pathway into that next step for rugby, which I feel like BUCS Super Rugby is that next step they need to take. So there definitely are some boys last year that people can now look up to and think that there's promise for next year. So it's quite a good, it's quite a good thing to follow.
Alan, you lost this fixture last season, 32 points to 6, but Cardiff are a different beast this year. What's changed?
Yeah, hi Claire. It's a little bit of self-belief, I think. And also we've got a couple of older players who've stayed on to do a post-grad, and it's made a big difference, a little bit of experience. And the experience they picked up from those narrow losses last year, not Loughborough, but a few of the narrow ones, has headed us in good stead for this year, I think, so far.
And your draw against Leeds Beckett last fortnight ago took many followers of this league by surprise. How do you feel about that result? Did it feel like you left the north of England with 3 points untaken?
Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful to Leeds. They're a good side. The weather had a big impact. There's a 40-mile-an-hour wind. It was very difficult conditions, backed up with a long journey. But they're a good side. I think we left a little bit too much on the bus. But again, that's the power of this league. I think if you're not on it, if you're 10% off, you can lose every game.
The consistency you've managed this year with selection is really striking. Now, this might sound like a simple question, but why is it that you're so often picking such similar starting 15s? And how do you keep your players fit in a league this attritional?
Yeah, it's just managing them. We're lucky in a few positions. We've got some depth, so we can rotate in some. But it's just knowing how hard the league is and just managing their week and managing their load throughout the week. And obviously they've got studies on top of that as well, Claire. So it's a big focus effort from all the management team and how we wrap the players up. But again, we haven't got a huge depth compared to some of the universities either, so that makes it a little bit easier. I know it's a strange thing to say, but it makes it a little bit easier as well at times.
It must be quite comforting to know, though, that you have some nailed-on starters and that there's real cohesion in those combinations.
Yeah, and that's what it does give you. You know, the lack of depth gives you, allows those players to play together, and they get to grow to know each other. The key is just keeping them on the field now. So, bit of good luck.
Well, good luck indeed. Have a good one tonight. We're looking forward to seeing how they get on.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Claire. Have a good game. Enjoy. Thank you.
Alan Flower is up there with the nicest men in BUCS Super Rugby, and there are lots of great people involved in this great league. It is Loughborough versus Cardiff, live from Epinal Way. Let's take a look at some of the results from the previous week, as it's just started to rain here, just when we were hoping that it was going to stay dry here in the East Midlands. A couple of umbrellas pop up to ruin it. Alas, I don't think that is going to stop either of these teams trying to run the leather off this ball. So yes, we're going to have a run through of the fixtures and the results, and then the two teams. And then I'm going to introduce you to our superstar co-commentator for today, just as Loughborough are out there in the orange bibs and the purple jerseys ahead of this evening's fixture. Look how close some of those results were last week. Nottingham, the new boys, picking up 2 bonus points, but Exeter getting over the line. 5 points for them. Cardiff, perhaps a little bit of a shock as Leeds Beckett picked up their first positive victory of the season. Durham, 5 points against Swansea, who are improving but still looking for consistency this season. Bath versus Loughborough, perhaps the pick of the fixtures. Loughborough getting 2 points away, but Bath really proving to be a thorn in the side of everyone in BSR this season. Perhaps the most improved team. And then Hartpury 25, Cardiff Met 26. That was our feature game live from Kingsholm. And if this delivers anywhere near that kind of drama, we're going to have a great night tonight. Those are the fixtures here. Cardiff Met against Durham and Swansea against Exeter are the late kickoffs. We already know that Hartpury have picked up a bonus point on the road at Leeds Beckett. That was 41 points to 20, and Bath also picking up a bonus point on the road in Nottingham. So 2 down, 3 to go. I'll keep my eye on social media to update you with the scores, but we're counting down to kick off here as we look at the table, and look how tight it is. It's first against second. Cardiff Met, Bath, Durham, Exeter, all sniffing around that top spot, even with Exeter down in 6th. I spoke to Alan Flower earlier in the week, and he said, look, Dave, we're in 2nd place at the moment. However, if we lose this game tonight, then we could be down in the bottom half come Thursday morning. That is how tight it is at the top of BUCS Super Rugby. Let's take a look at the teams then. A couple of minutes before they come out from that tunnel. Starting with Loughborough, a couple of late withdrawals have given Scott Snedden some selection headaches. Nathan Pope went down, so Archie Keane is given a nod at 13. In the midfield with Josh Tussler. In the pack, it's a settled front row with Davis, Plunkett and Mink Sharink. And Pedler and Alfie Scopes are in the second row with Mario Picciardi given a rest after his man-of-the-match heroics for Spain this weekend. It's the Charlies, Breers and Titcombe pulling the strings at half-back, and it's a relationship that has brought great entertainment so far this season. Chris Preen is given the opportunity on the bench as well. Plenty of flair in the back line to come off the bench with Tom Miles and Will Sanders available at 21 and 23. As for Cardiff, injury and pro contracts mean that Alan Flowers without some of the cornerstones of his team as well, but still lots of experience. 11 of this 15 were involved in the varsity match against Swansea last year, and experience counts for so much in BSR. Ed Dunford looks to be playing some of the best rugby of his career in his final year in red. And Ben Chapman, the spokesman for the club at the media day, is in brilliant form alongside Thompson and Williams in the front row. And I stand by it. He is the best-looking hooker in BUCS Super Rugby. Ben Chapman, and I will not have any questions on that matter. Tell you who else is a pretty good-looking chap is the fella stood to my right, our co-commentator this evening, England students, James Langston. We're actually in quite a busy commentary box, and they're all laughing as I introduce you as a good-looking co-com. How does that make you feel?
I'm not really surprised by that. I have been told I have the face of radio, so it's kind of nothing new, really.
Great to have your company this evening, but what it does mean is you're not fit to play at the moment. So what's wrong with you? How long are you out for, and how are you taking not being involved on nights like tonight?
So I'm kind of hoping to get some minutes again next week as a return. And tell you what, blood pressure on the sideline goes through the roof when you're watching the boys play. You're just kind of chomping at the bit to always get out and play. Well,
we'll have to get commentary cam on the go, because I'm sure you'll be hopping around. Try not to redo the hammy. Talk to me about this group then, because you had 4 wins in a row going into last week. Very narrow defeat against Bath. That looked like a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was. It's always tough, I think, when, especially this year in the league, I think everyone's very much capable of beating everyone. I think we've seen that in the results. And it's always tough to go on an away day to teams that are kind of on a roll.
Well, Movember's in full flow. Some lads getting on a little bit better than others?
Yeah, rumour has it some eyebrow dye's been kicking about for some of the boys. Not throwing anyone under the bus, but I'm just going to kind of throw that out there.
Hey, it's a long night and we're live for a couple of hours. I expect you to throw at least one of the lads under the bus as a little bit of drizzle is coming down. The better prepared amongst us have bought umbrellas. Thankfully, we are in the dry today. Let's have a chat about Cardiff then, because even though they're settled into BUCS Super Rugby, as somebody is walking by with a sheep, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. Somebody's got a sheep on a skewer, obviously referring to the Welsh visitors today. But let's have a conversation about them then. Cardiff. I talked about Bath perhaps being the most improved team of the season, but Cardiff, with 4 wins, a draw and a loss, all such tight scorelines, they've been very, very impressive, and they're a team that you must take seriously now.
Yeah, I think this year a lot of teams have been significantly better than how they've been last year and how they've performed. A lot of, obviously, well, like you said, a lot of tight scorelines, but I think with Cardiff, the biggest thing this year is they stay in the fight for the full 80.
What about this group of boys who are lining the tunnel then? Some coming better dressed than others. The temperature has dropped here in Loughborough. Some in sensible coats, yourself included. Some haven't even bothered. They're going to be absolutely freezing. But are these all members of the club there? Are they getting ready to create a raucous atmosphere here tonight?
Yeah, they've got their corner just by the away dugout where they normally park up for the full 80. But yeah, that will be hopefully the loud crowd tonight.
Can you give us a little peek behind the curtains of what have been the work-ons as you look to get back to winning ways today?
I think discipline for us, really. I think in the Bath game we had 18 penalties against us, and well, we've seen in the league this year you can't give that many penalties away and expect to come away with a win. So I think discipline and kind of just playing in the right areas of the field. I think we kind of got that slightly wrong against Bath, but it's a new week, so.
What's a good number, penalties-wise?
Well, the dream is below 10 a game, and we actually have done that for a couple of games this year. So I'm going to say 10. Below 10 would be a dream number.
Below 10, you've heard it here first. We've just lost pictures for a second because there are a couple of Loughborough Lightning girls who have turned that plug off. So if you could turn that plug back on so we can see the game, that'd be mega. Thank you. And with that, the Loughborough replacements make their way through, including those, as I mentioned before, Will Standers, Tom Mile, Fergus Dick, Mario Picciardi. What about him? Man of the match on his Spanish debut. What a moment.
Yeah, it was cracking. It was good to see him score in the corner like a winger, holding the touchline, like he normally does here. I don't know if that was for a breather or that was actually planned, but you know, take them as they come, as long as you cross the whitewash.
But just another example of a player taking an opportunity, playing well in BUCS Super Rugby, and anything can happen.
Yeah, I think this league's probably the best for it, really. I think so many lads last year, you look at Fred Davis, Charles Rylands, some of those boys that have gone off to bigger and better things after leaving uni.
Yeah, Charles Rylands going great guns for Bedford Blues. Championship is a real home for a lot of these BUCS Super Rugby boys post-graduation. But Cardiff are the first out. There is Luke Pollock leading the team, former Ulsterman. Little known fact, he actually played volleyball for Northern Ireland. So as well as his Ulster Academy antics, he is a dual code international.
Definitely got the height for it, so that kind of doesn't surprise me.
No, he is some boy. More on that later though, because here come Loughborough. And just as you mentioned, James, there is the noise. That tunnel tightens. And out they come, looking to get back to winning ways. They had 4 wins in a row before falling to defeat against Bath. As for Cardiff, it was 3 wins in a row at the start of the season. Then since defeat at Hartpury, they've got a victory away at Exeter, and they drew with Leeds Beckett. They travel very, very well. It is one of the best away teams in the league against one of the best home teams in the league. Cardiff in the changed jersey of black. Ed Dunford, the man who's going to get us underway. Ben Wood, the man in the middle today. He joins us from Bristol, works in politics. But when I asked him for some more details on that, surprise, surprise, he didn't give me any. But he blows the whistle. Dunford gets us underway. It's Loughborough versus Cardiff, BUCS Super Rugby. Would you want to be anywhere else in the world right now? Tobias Monday, the captain, with the first carry. And Loughborough looking for a clean exit. And a decent exit too, and there is Dunford, first touch for him, steps off the right foot, gets met. Good high energy chase for Loughborough students in the African violet jerseys. And now it's Cardiff's turn to exit. Here's Josh Thomas, sends that skyward. And it just drops on the touchline, not out on the full, and a decent clean exit. And our first look at the line out as well.
I don't know what to do.
So here is Ben Chapman. Again, I'm not going to pump his tyres up too much, but what I will say is the moustache has slightly ruined the look. And with the scrum cap on, slightly covers his cherubim face, but he's found his man early on, and an opportunity for Cardiff to get into the Loughborough half. Josh Thomas throws the dummy. He's one of those players who was involved in that varsity fixture. Ethan Phillips, the ball carrier here, another. Working it up the right-hand side. Good heavy carries. Loughborough meeting them. Tamora Agbongbong making the tackle. Cardiff keeping it relatively narrow. Little tip on there, sends it to Billy Moxley. He was called up late. Shifted Tom Capel into the second row. Capel, a lock by trade as Dunford chips in behind. And that's watched by Charlie Titcombe.
I think that's a pretty good D-set. Boys getting off the line, two-man shots in. Not really giving too much away there.
Well, we've had a look at the Cardiff line out. Now Loughborough's turn. Joe Plunkett. I mean, even from here, we can just about see the moustache. It's 2 weeks in, though. He's got another 2 weeks to really thicken it up. He picks out Alfie Scopes. That's not going anywhere. You've got Tom Capel. Unmistakable with that shock of blonde hair, trying to spoil. Now here's the chase. Oh, and the shot's good. Luke Bray does well to get away from it, though. Excellent carry from the Cardiff right winger. They're back on the ball. Here is Chapman. He is met by Monday and driven back. There's the tip on. Cardiff hitting these lines well. And here's Pollock. Pollock gets away. Man outside him drills the pass to Riddian Williams. It was a great break from Pollock. The pass let it down. And 3 minutes in, Loughborough escaped with a line out.
I think you just need a little bit more sympathy on that one. Especially as a winger, I think I'll be probably in his ear maybe saying just a little bit less on that from just 5 metres out.
Well, it was a 2-on-1 and a chance, but a real opportunity there. Luke Pollock showing his worth to this team. Reduced numbers in the line out. Scopes is the target once more. Plunkett in the armchair.
It's a lot better drill, this line out. Rolling forward. Always a good sign as a back.
Yeah, you can put your hands in your pockets there, can't you? And watch them go to work. Referee says once, so Charlie Breers shapes the kick. Sends that up the tram lines. It's going to drop into the 22. Where Riddian Williams is there. And that's drilled back with interest. Sat up nicely for Breers. And now Breers is going to give chase. Dunford checks and takes that well, Ed Dunford, and then puts the footwork on. Ben Smith drops down to make the tackle. Loughborough win the penalty. Now, quick decision, corner or posts?
Corner. I think you've got to back your set piece early doors.
Oh, that is a brave call in a tight game. 4.5 minutes on our clock. Just a reminder that we keep it as close as we can to the referee's watch, but it's not linked in. So if it's a tight game, which it invariably will be with Cardiff University involved, then there might be a little bit of meat left on the bone. But Charlie Titcombe opts to go for the posts. Talk to me about Charlie Titcombe, because everyone's quite excited about him. He is a key cog in this Loughborough machine.
Yeah, I mean, he's like came in last year. Well, as a fresher, first year was COVID. Last year, full season of BSR, seriously pulled the strings. I think his kicking game is obviously exceptional. It's probably a cornerstone to him as a player. So yeah, he's kind of just sort of running the show at the moment in the Midlands.
Well, this is his first shot at goal. That's the ball on the tee, almost horizontal. Strikes it well, strikes it goalward. The crowd scream, get in the hole, and he duly obliges. Loughborough 3, Cardiff 0, just shy of 6 minutes.
Probably a good thing we didn't go to the corner there.
We'll take the points when they're there. And of course, red zone efficiency is massive, isn't it? You've not had a visit to the 22 yet, but you find yourselves leading in the game.
Yeah, that's so it's always good to settle the nerves actually early doors.
Ed Dunford gets us restarted again, back on a Masters this year. As I mentioned at the top of the show, he is a man who looks like he's really enjoying his rugby at the moment, and his performances are reflecting that. Rears not in a rush. Gets plenty on that. Gilbert's underneath it. And now Dunford. Luke Pollock tries to go around the outside, nearly gets away again, but Tussler brings him down. Dart up the short side from Josh Thomas, but then he goes back open, so Cardiff without a scrum half here. Capel. Captain of Cardiff under-18s, Capel. That's Cardiff Rugby as opposed to Cardiff University. There's a searching chip over the top, bounces up nicely for Loughborough, but they're driven back into their own 22. Good work from Gwilym Evans. He played in that varsity match as a fresher, which is a huge occasion for all of those involved with Cardiff University and, of course, Swansea.
It's a great nudge to find grass.
And then a chip back, but it's gifted straight back to Loughborough, and now Tobias Monday breaks the line, looking for support, instead runs straight over Deventer and into the 22. Well, Cardiff have hacked that clear, and I think there's a conversation about whether or not that was offside. No, instead, it's a knock on, one way then the other, so we're going to have a look at the scrum. Fantastic break by Monday.
He's a bit of a kind of, you don't really expect him to have the ball carrying ability he does, and that's no disrespect to Tobbs. Absolutely not. Please don't run at me at training. But no, he's very good. He drops his body height well, and he's pretty powerful in the contact zone.
So we're going to have our first look at the scrum. Talk to me about your, where are you with your Type 5 knowledge? Do you like to get your head in there?
Crouch bind set is about as far as I go when it comes to Type 5 knowledge.
Let's talk about it from a back's perspective then. When they're packing down and you're set firstly in an attacking sense, what's going through your mind? What's the communication? Give us an insight.
Well, I think this year our scrum, actually, to be fair to the boys, has been pretty good. I think generally we haven't really gone backwards too much. So as a back, it makes it a little bit easier, because you know you can kind of start where you're standing and then get your running lines and timings, everything off nines, normally pretty fluid. Always makes it a little bit harder when you're going backwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of getting your timing and everything right, do you like the ball in and out quickly, or do you sort of keep your eye on where it is and where the momentum is?
Well, I think it's normally a momentum thing. I think especially with Tobias at the back, he likes to keep it in. He's got pretty good football skills. So you know, if we're going forward, he's going to be keeping it in. So I think it's kind of one of those things where you play with certain players enough and you kind of pick up what they like to do.
Well, this is a really interesting battle. Thompson, Chapman and Williams, experienced front row. And then Plunkett, Sharink and Davis have really made a name for themselves.
Gentlemen, we'll slow it down. We need more space, okay? Space, okay? Yeah, we need you both to be better, okay? Hold the weight.
Referee Ben Wood has got Bryn Davis and Adam Williams in his crosshairs.
Crouch! lines.
So Josh Thomas
Set.
prepares himself to put the ball in. He's not even going to need to, because it's been collapsed by Bryn Davis. And it's a penalty to Cardiff. Chance to clear the lines and get something started from around halfway. I say that, but I've definitely watched games with Ed Dunford earlier in his BUCS Super Rugby career, where he's just tapped and gone from there.
Yeah, well, I think generally, to be fair, I'm not trying to jinx it, I think the weather's held up fairly decently tonight so far. So I think kind of chucking it around probably wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Well, he said it now. No doubt it's going to hose it down any second.
It's commentator's curse, that.
Yeah. Claire Thomas is sat next to us and she's just shrugging her shoulders as if to say, James, come on. It's a fast learning curve. Oh, yeah, more close-ups of Ben Chapman, please. Line-up been good for both teams so far. Chapman finds his man again. It's popped out quickly for Thomas, who finds Dunford. Then they send the crash ball forward. Loughborough meet them with Ben Smith. And then popped out the back by Deventer. Deventer has dusted off that big knock from Monday. Loughborough sniffing around the turnover, but never on the ball. Capel finds ground quickly. Thompson. Good carry from him through Ant Pedler. Bit of indecision, so Cardiff go back the other way. They're over the 10. That's how Bonbon making tackles. And he's actually offside, so there's going to be a chance here for Cardiff, who look to cut loose at the right-hand side. That's a lovely ball, the nudge by Luke Bray, but covered by Titcombe. And we go back for the penalty. Again, your choice, corner or posts?
Well, I've said corner before. I think I'm going to go with post. I reckon probably even the score's up after 11 minutes. Might settle some nerves.
Well, that'll be one shot at goal each, and that is what they've called. Ed Dunford is going to go for the nudge to level things. Titcombe 3 so far. Dunford looking to add his 3. I'd like to make the effort to shout out the brilliant efforts by players around this league, and Ed Dunford has created a Headwear social enterprise to raise money for concussion charities. So do make sure you give that a look. And he's also played some brilliant rugby this year. He drew in a touchline conversion in the Cardiff clash after the Cardiff Met Ultras had given him pelters for 80 minutes and then some. And he plays the game. Some fairly hefty strapping on that right leg. That's the right leg he's about to put through this penalty. Here's Dunford to level the scores. Straight through the middle, one shot at goal each, 3 points each, 13 minutes gone. Loughborough 3, Cardiff 3. Clean take and a big shot. Backs putting shots on backs. Both teams have exited well so far. Josh Thomas has done exactly that, but the ball stays in play. So now a chance to counter and a lovely step, and the shot comes in from Capel. That's gone backwards. It's not clean ball for the home team, but it is ball nonetheless as Capel comes in to make another tackle. And then Loughborough off their feet, giving away ball in the middle of the park. So that's 2 penalties for Agbonbon in quick succession.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to settle the nerves out there for him. He's a character that brings quite a lot of energy to the team. He really likes to get off the line, likes to bring line speed, likes to have a lot of involvement.
He's an interesting story, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is. He kind of, I think, well, came in last year, was playing Nat 2 North, and then went away with Tigers for Prem Cup and really took his opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, he is a very capable young man. If he gets the ball in space, then it can be pretty explosive. However, 15 minutes in and he's conceded 2 penalties. Now Cardiff have got great field position again. They've used Capel in the line-out and they set the drive to work. Chapman there at the back, ball clutched in the right hand. Josh Thomas sniffing around for when the referee tells him to use it, which is now. Out the back, here's Felix Gilbert. Goes one way then the other and drives the legs well. Gilbert, Kildun slows his progress, but now is this space on the left-hand side. Beautiful ball, great finish. Rydian Williams gets the first try of the match. Stunning flat pass from the base. Williams gets round the outside and Cardiff lead for the first time in the game.
Yeah, it was an efficient attack from Cardiff, round the corner. Quick ball from the rock, and then wingers held the edge really well there. So almost a walk-in.
Almost a walk-in, said by a true back, but Gilbert does well here. Makes a couple of metres through Kildun, but what about this pass?
Yeah, I mean, that's seriously on the money. It's exactly where you want it if you're the person calling for it.
Missed out 2 men, Chapman being one of them, Luke Bray. They both kept the defenders honest. And as you mentioned, James, Rydian Williams holds the edge and scores the game's first try, 16 minutes in. And here's Dunford. No sooner has he had a relatively straightforward penalty. He's got this one from out wide. He's only taken it to the 22. He's not made the angle easy for himself. But the result is the same. Beautiful nudge from Dunford. He's up to 5 points. Cardiff are up to 10. 17 minutes gone and there's a converted score in it. And it has to be said that Cardiff are punishing Loughborough's mistakes at the moment. 2 penalties conceded and they've scored 10 points.
That's perfect efficiency.
So there's the restart. Back into the 22. Big crowd of people behind that particular area. No doubt it'll be a bit leery over there too. There's James Roberts. Brecon boys, who's got to be a good egg. Ethan Phillips adds the length to the Caterpillar and Josh Thomas puts it off the park this time.
It's very good game management there from Cardiff. Just score and then next job's make sure you exit well, and now it's line out on the halfway line. Just passed.
Is that Ferg come on?
Yes, so Dick.
Fergus Dick on wearing 20, so an early change for Loughborough. Oh, as that ball comes out the back, it's been knocked on, and now Luke Pollock boots that into space. It's into the dead ball zone, and Kildun chases back. And we go back to where we came from, but again, Cardiff looking to turn defence into attack really, really quickly. Great awareness from Pollock. Bit too much on the nudge. And of course, no advantage, so we go to the scrum. Just the second scrum of the game. The first, we didn't get the ball in. It was a penalty to Cardiff. So we've heard about the attacking sense, defensive sense from a back's perspective.
Yeah, I think it's always hard off set piece. I think you're trying to fill the field the best you possibly can. But I think it's a lot easier to try and defend when people are going outside you, to try and push them to an edge rather than letting them go through the middle, because, well, especially in this league, it's normally points.
Because the touchline never misses a tackle.
Touchline never misses a tackle.
2 scrums, 2 penalties. This one goes to Loughborough. And the chance for Charlie Titcombe to kick for touch. Oh, he's tried to bite off a bit too much, and Dunford gathers that. And that's going to stay in field too. He kicks that one up the tram line. Titcombe checks, sends that one skyward. Here comes the chase. This is going to be a good challenge and a great take. Felix Gilbert comes in from deep. Just casting my eye out, I think it's Alfie Scopes who's gone off for Ferg Dick. As Loughborough win the penalty. Great work at the breakdown. And he's going for the uprights. Crikey, this would be some nudge.
Well, he's done it before. England students last year against France. He's managed to do it when the pressure was really on to get ahead.
It was actually from a similar distance, but it was the other side of the post, wasn't it? After Charles Rylands won the turnover penalty. And I've no doubt you guys had a great night out at Newcastle after that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
As it should be. Halfway through the first half, Titcombe, who's had a fresh fade because he knew the cameras were going to be here, drills that one low. Has it got the length? It has, but it doesn't have the guidance. His heat-seeking missile radar just off there, and it remains Loughborough 3 at Cardiff 10. Didn't quite catch hold of that, did he?
Not much of a kicking expert, especially off the tee. I've been put on a kicking ban or two in my time, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's probably just pushed that left slightly. Maybe he was accounting for the wind.
Nickname Shin.
Shin, knee, kind of sort of any lower limb body part, really.
Great strike from Dunford to get us back underway. Another big heavy carry coming up, a really big heavy carry. That's Ferg Dick off the bench, straight into the action, and quick ball here. Titcombe whips that one out, and it's fumbled by Harry Rowson. And he'd be disappointed with that, because that was good ball to run onto.
Yeah, especially, he's absolutely electric. His pace is honestly unreal. So getting the ball to him in some space is, well, he normally causes carnage.
I'm sure he'll get an opportunity as the game progresses. But so far, he's not had the opportunity. Let's see if we can get the ball into the scrum this time. Both penalties have been given on the same side, actually. In it comes from Thomas. Looks a bit steadier this time. Better scrum from Loughborough. Much better scrum from Loughborough.
It's a great shove. Not that I know much about scrumming anyway, but...
Moved in the right direction.
It's all that matters.
Just a correction on that, it's not Alfie Scopes at all. It's actually Monday who's gone off. I think he injured himself in that... Let's take another look at this. Yeah, he injured himself after that great carry, but has come in and filled those boots. I actually think Alf Scopes might have stepped in to captain the team in Monday's absence. Now Loughborough on the brink of the 22. They've not spent a lot of time here. And it is Scopes who goes up. They try and bring a Bonbon into the line. He stops, he goes. Oh, the footwork from a Bonbon, and he's dropped it. Oh, he's dropped it. And if there is a microcosm of that man's game, we've just seen it.
Yeah, honestly, he's electric off the line. Got into the seam brilliantly there. Might have celebrated slightly too early.
Oh, this stop and go is unreal. He sent the defender to the shops, the hand's gone up, and that cover tackle is absolutely sensational. Oh, he put his hand up. I mean, I don't know how student rugby works these days, but that would be a fine back in my day.
That's criminal. That'll definitely be a dice roll.
And the good news is, it's on the live stream, so everyone's seen it. Here's Mink Sharink. Good power from Sharink. Billy Moxley, the man bringing him down. Another penalty. Tap and go quickly from Breers. He's brought down. Loughborough injecting some pace. They're without both halfbacks, so Scope steps in at 9. Breers back on his feet. Penalty advantage. Loughborough starting to turn the screw. Here's Mink Sharink again. Bryn Davies backs him up. Much better injection of pace there from Breers. Loughborough, well, they found a little spark from somewhere.
Yeah, he's so good at that, especially in training. As soon as that ref's hand goes up for a penalty, he's always on the ball looking for a quick tap to get some easy meters in.
5 metres out. Best chance of the game. Well, I would say the best chance of the game from Loughborough so far, but they have been pretty much on the line. But a bit of territory. Loughborough 3, Cardiff 10. 15 minutes to go until half-time. Plunkett finds Scopes again. They set them all this time. There's Plunkett, goes up the blind side. Another pick, another go, another Cardiff defender. Keeping the sheets clean. This time they try and find another big man. It's Mink Sharink. He stopped just short. Bryn Davies is going to have a go. Had bonbons there. Hopefully he's dried his hands for the next time he gets them on the ball. Refs having a look. Refs awarded the try. Persistence from Loughborough. 26 minutes gone. They get their first of the game. And it felt as though they needed to come away from the 22 with something that time.
Yeah, well, especially after being so close first time round.
Another fresh fade for the Wednesday night.
Yeah, Joe Plunkett, he's a bit of a serial well, I say hairdresser. he's normally in the hairdressers quite a lot, getting a fresh fade.
Well, he's got over the try line there, Joe Plunkett. First of the night for him, the conversion to come. And after 10 unanswered points for Cardiff, Loughborough got themselves back in the game, right in front of those supporters. So Titcombe, one successful penalty, one unsuccessful from downtown. And a successful conversion. 27 minutes gone, and we are all square. Loughborough 10, Cardiff 10. Let's take another look at this.
I think it's just good patience, really. Just low body height, making sure that we managed to get over the ball and kind of stop the jackal threat from the inside. And it's just great work from Plunkett to get around the corner to kind of dot it down.
Not the easiest of finishes, but as you say, big men, low body height. We'll take another look at that ground in a bit later, because Cardiff have got us underway quickly, and now it's Breer's turn to exit, keeping it in field. Gilbert's underneath it. Dunford gives chase, excellent kick, drops just outside the 22, and that's a brilliant chase from Dunford. He tackles Rhys Malone. Another chase incoming. It's a good flat box. Oscar de Venter's there. He thinks he's seen some space. If this gets a good bounce, he could be in business. Oh, it's a great cover. 50-22 saver there. Where are you on the 50-22? Are you a fan?
When it goes our way, yes.
There's the try scorer, Plunkett on Luke Bray. Another penalty for Loughborough. And perhaps the chance to kick themselves into the lead. Great work from Ben Smith to force that. And that's all about the kick chase.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing that we've been working on quite a lot recently, making sure we get a good kick chase in, good solid line to try and win a turnover.
That's exactly what they've done. The tee comes on. And this a little bit more routine for Titcombe, maybe 6 or 7 metres outside the 22. Good angle for the right footer. Had a couple of great outings for the ill-fated Worcester Warriors in the Prem Cup, including a beautiful crossfield kick to set up a try for Harry Dole, former Swansea University BUCS Super Rugby star. Here he is to put Loughborough into the lead, which he succeeds in doing. Loughborough 13, Cardiff 10, half an hour gone. Well, let's have a look at this grounding here. Joe Plunkett's moment in the sun. Someone who spends a lot of time in the back line. This can't be a particularly enviable position for you, but that's a great leg drive there to get underneath Gwilym Evans.
Yeah, you've got to respect him for putting himself in that position in the first place.
Well, this game has ebbed and flowed beautifully, isn't it? The lead has changed hands 3 times already. Again, Felix Gilbert underneath it. He looks solid as a rock underneath the high ball. He's taken on Sam Kildunn there, who's making a good tackle. So Sam Kildunn, how much heat do you give him for not being the best winger in his family?
I mean, it comes out maybe once or twice in training.
A day, or?
I mean, to be fair, probably, but it's, you know, we're just trying to make him better, really.
Of course, and it's not fair because he's a fantastic player with a massive future. But you know, it's unlikely he'll ever play in a World Cup final.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard, especially when your sister is as good as she is and does some of the things that she does.
Absolutely, and Oscar de Venter, great line from him, good strength too. Here's Moxley, gets dished up by a bonbon. Now Dunford looks for the inside ball. Luke Bray's there, another monster shot. Alfie Scopes this time. Now Pollock, he'll do well to get a shot like that on him as he takes Cardiff up to the 22. Another ball out to the left. There's Rydian Williams, the try scorer. Cardiff back into the 22. They've been clinical here so far. Neither team has spent a lot of time in the red zone. Oh, what a turnover. Ben Smith comes away clean with the ball. And now Titcombe clears the lines. Decent length on it, but Gilbert can run it back with interest. Defensively, Loughborough have gone up a notch in the last 90 seconds or so. Here is Sam Kildunn racing away with those quick feet, spots a gap, lovely feet from Kildunn into the Cardiff half. No, he's made 30 good metres. That bonbon hits the line again, keeps hold of it this time. Titcombe, oh, flat ball to the try scorer Plunkett. That goes forward and Cardiff can think about a counter-attack. Rydian Williams. Now this time Ben Smith a bit too keen. And Cardiff win the penalty. Tell you what, the ball was in play a long time there, wasn't it?
Oh, some serious sort of end-to-end stuff, really. Yeah, I think leave the ball down there and kind of let the lungs get some air back in.
Loughborough 13, Cardiff 10. If you're just joining us, firstly, where have you been? Because we've already had a brilliant game today in the Women's National League. Hartbury getting back to winning ways. They picked up 5 points against Loughborough, who are struggling a bit for results, but certainly have the building blocks in place for a good season. And you've missed 33 excellent minutes of rugby here. Charlie Titcombe put Loughborough ahead with a penalty. Then on 13 minutes there, Dunford equalised to make it 3-3. Rydian Williams scored with a lovely touch up the left-hand side off a great ball off Josh Thomas. Dunford slotted the conversion, and that woke Loughborough up a little bit. They had a great opportunity where Tommy Bonbon hit the line, celebrated, then knocked it on without dotting down, but it wasn't long before Loughborough were over the whitewash. Joe Plunkett, after a patient period of play inside the 22. That was converted for 10-10. And then 3 and a bit minutes ago now, Charlie Titcombe put Loughborough into the lead for the second time. But we're half an hour into another game involving Cardiff University where there's less than a score in it.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're just so good at staying in the fight for the full 80. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real ding-dong battle.
So who's down there then? Are they all lads from the club?
So there'll be some from the club, and then there'll just be sort of, I say, normal university students that will kind of just come down to support.
It's brilliant. Everywhere we take the live stream cameras, week on week, we get great crowds who come to watch some of the most entertaining rugby that you will see anywhere. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Great to have your company. We've been following for years, so thanks for your continued support. We absolutely love it here at BUCS Super Rugby Towers. So Chapman, oh, he's overthrown that one. It's just slipped through the fingers, and Loughborough not only get away with it, but come away with it too.
Okay, use it, Loughborough.
Breers digs for it. Iridian Williams. Oh, he's lost that ball as well. Referee Ben Wood letting him get away with it, saying it was backwards. It's a lot closer than us. Oh, that's an excellent take. 5 minutes until half-time. Breers and Titcombe. There's a little look cross-field. This could be contestable. In fact, it's come off a toe and it's not quite kept in. Looked like we could have had a bit of football there.
Yeah, well, especially with Ralston's pace, I think that could have gone in our favour, but unfortunately, rugby ball's a weird shape, so you never know where it's going to bounce or where it's going to bounce.
Who is the quickest in the performance group?
We're on the spot now. As much as Killers, well, Sam Kildun would like to say it's him.
Yeah,
it's definitely Ralston. He's been putting some good PBs in on the GPS.
Oh, we've got some scores for you. Do you want to know?
Yeah, please.
If you don't want to know, then put your fingers in your ears for the next 5 seconds. The latest from Topsham is Exeter 21, Swansea 11. And also over the border at King Coyd, Cardiff Met 16, Durham 6. Oh, lovely burst here from Ben Chapman. Gets the offload away as well. Josh Thomas is there. And now Pollock. He misses out on it, but Felix Gilbert, he's hit the line so hard, loves taking the ball at pace, and does a brilliant job.
It's a great shot from Archie Keane, chopping just to kill the momentum there.
This feels like a good opportunity for Cardiff. There's Ed Thompson, that taped up head of his, difficult to miss. Now Dunford wants it up the short side, pumps the pass, and Capel gets it away to Gilbert. Gilbert to Iridian Williams, already one try. Archie Keane over it.
Entry.
Cardiff side entry. But he might have taken that off Archie Keane, who looked like he was good for the Jackal.
Yeah, not many times you see an outside back getting over a breakdown and try and get a Jackal turnover.
But Loughborough escape, and the score remains Loughborough 13, Cardiff 10. Real attritional battle. And after the start to the game, where both teams were taking advantage of getting points in the red zone, Loughborough has just managed to blunt Cardiff a little bit with the last 2 entries.
Yes, sort of almost weathered the storm slightly.
Thanks, Jason. Okay, we're all good.
Well, at half-time, do stick with us, because Claire is going to be pitch side with Director of Rugby here at Loughborough, Rhys Edwards, and with so much going on Loughborough rugby-wise, as well as BUCS Super Rugby, and of course the Women's National League. The Premier 15s kicks off this weekend. Loughborough Women, or Loughborough Lightning should I say, away at Saracens, and the Men's National 2 North continues apace. There is a lot of high-level rugby going on here at Epinal Way, and the player talent pool is deep. And I think that is one of the things that is so impressive about this Cardiff team, currently second in the league, level on points with Loughborough, given the fact that their funding is completely different and they've got so many fewer resources. The fact that they are able to beat teams like Cardiff Met and Exeter away at Cardiff Arms Park and Sandy Park, I think says a huge amount about what Alan Flower and the team are doing down there in the Welsh capital. But then Ben Chapman. Squiffy line out twice now. One overthrow and then that one not straight.
just like scrummaging, I'm not really sure I know too much about about getting it in.
So after a couple of false starts, the last few scrums, well, as I say that, we get a free kick. And again, Charlie, the scrum half, just wants to go quickly all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's always looking for it. He's an absolute menace when the ball's in his hands. It's great when he's on your team in training, because you know you're going to get some meters, but when you're the one that's just giving the penalty away and you're defending, it's an absolute pain.
Well, I'd imagine when you know you've got a player like that, as an outside back, your instinct is, right, where's he? I've got to go with him.
Yeah, it's always trying to get those, well, we call them second touches, trying to get the support lines in, especially with someone as elusive as Breezy, because he can kind of sort of shift through, and then you're kind of just there for that, almost that 2-on-1 that he might create.
Well, it's just great to see him back playing at this level as well, because last year suffered a lot with glandular fever. Although he's not having to do a lot from the base of the scrum at the moment, because Bryn Davies has won a penalty there for Loughborough. And as we tick towards 40 minutes, again a reminder that our clock isn't linked in with the referees. But we're going to have, well, Loughborough are going to have another opportunity to attack. But that's Joe Plunkett down there, isn't it? And that doesn't look great.
No, it's always, especially, well, as an outside back, when a scrum goes down, it's never easy to see sort of who's getting up from that absolute doggy pile in the middle of the field.
He's holding the back of his neck as well. However, he's sat up, and I'm neither a physio nor a doctor, but if he's moving around, that's generally a good sign.
Yeah, it's always a good start when you see them moving around.
Oh, you can tell it's serious. The DJ's put the music on. Your thoughts on the first half then? We'll have a little chance to review it when the whistle goes. The referee's just told us we've got a minute to go before half-time, and of course, as I mentioned, Claire will be talking to Rhys Edwards. Yeah, we're 39 minutes in. Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah, it's one of those ones where the blood pressure's definitely going through the roof again. I think it's been pretty end to end. I think we've just probably, well, Loughborough managed to weather the storm slightly better as the half's gone on, just to kind of allow them to have a slight bit of foot space in the game.
We're quite lucky here at BUCS Super Rugby that in terms of co-commentators and guests, we get all kinds. Sometimes it'll be an injured non-selected player. Last week we were lucky enough to have Gloucester and England's Mark Atkinson, who came to join us at Kingsholm. But when we get players like yourself, as the rain has really started to come down now, and one person in the supporting group has brought an umbrella. But when we get people like you who really want to be out there, who play such an integral part in their BUCS Super Rugby team, I'd love to stick a heart monitor on you and just see how it changes when we get from 22 to 22.
Yeah, I'm not sure my GP would like to look at that, I'll be honest.
Well, time's back on. Loughborough are going to kick for touch, and confirmation that Adam Williams conceded the penalty of Bryn Davies. Adam Williams, one of the medics in the Cardiff University teams. Wales under-20s in the Six Nations as well, so that is no mean feat for Bryn Davies, who looks under 100 kilos to me, which for a loose head prop at this level is absolutely astonishing. But he punches above his weight, doesn't he?
He does. He's definitely a powerful individual. Yeah, he is actually under 100 kilos as well.
And there he is, stood at the front of the line-out as Loughborough make a bit of a mess of that, but Mink Sharink tidies up, and then Rowson does take it in. There are hands on that. Oh, it's a great turnover. No, oh, I thought he had hands on that. And James Roberts feels a little bit aggrieved. But referee Ben Wood in a great spot.
Shots to go.
And now to close the half, Titcombe with the opportunity to give Loughborough a 6-point lead.
Lads, if it goes dead, that will be half.
Yeah, I think that's just good game management there. A couple of minutes, well, a couple of seconds before half-time. Just try and keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Please, give it 10. It will be half-time if it goes dead. Of course.
Well, have a look up at the floodlights there. That gives us a rough idea of the conditions. The temperature's dropped. There's no breeze, but the rain is coming down. So it'll be a greasy ball and a greasy surface in the second half. Loughborough will lead, but by how many? They'll lead by 6. Titcombe adds a three-pointer just as the referee decides that he has seen enough. The lead has changed hands 3 times. Loughborough led 3-0, trailed 10-3, but at half-time at Epinal Way, it is Loughborough 16, Cardiff 10. And as the players jog to the sheds with varying levels of enthusiasm, James, your thoughts on the first 40 minutes?
Well, I think it's been a pretty tight first 40. I think it's just has actually been end-to-end stuff. I think, you know, to go 3-0 up in the first couple of minutes is always fairly good to settle the nerves, and then to kind of, well, for Cardiff to level it up and then actually get the first try is always a really good momentum swing, especially when you're away from home. So yeah, really good credit to Cardiff.
Well, a couple of tries to have a look at before we catch up with Claire and Reese. But before we have, well, in fact, we'll have a look at those now. This was a little bit of Cardiff at their best, wasn't it? Big, strong backs, getting momentum, and this seed from Josh was a beauty.
Yeah, honestly, on the money. Didn't have to break stride, didn't have to hands. That's at the perfect height
for the winger to run onto. That was the first try, only real opportunity they had. This was where Loughborough came back into it, and I think Cardiff might have thought, when the maul didn't go according to plan for Loughborough, that they might have weathered the storm, but this was good discipline by the home team.
Yeah, especially Joe Plunkett as well. He's got some serious white line fever at the moment. He's he's on the back of maul tries. He's getting involved in these short range efforts as well. So that man. One
thing we didn't pick up on there was just before that pop pass to Mink Sherink to just a little bit wider, and there is the drive. Oh, he was very close, and in fact it was. Let's have a look to see if there was another little push there. Yeah, it was Samora Agbombon just adding a little bit of extra weight, and I bet he is glad that he did after that howler that I'm sure will be doing the rounds on the WhatsApp groups for weeks to come. However, it is 16-10 at half-time. I'm looking down there now. I can see a Claire. I can see a Reese. Reese is always a fascinating chat, and Claire is always a fascinating interviewer. So let's have a listen to what they've got to say.
Confirm that the man next to me is always an interesting interviewee. Reese, right as the heavens open, we have to stand outside. That seems hardly fair, but what have you made of the first half?
Yeah, it's been pretty competitive, hasn't it? You know, it's two physical teams pretty much going after each other, and I think there's not much between them at times. I think, you know, a bit more accuracy from us would probably keep us in the game a bit longer. You know, we obviously started pretty slowly, but I thought we took hold of that second part of that first half really well.
Loughborough are a much improved side this season, and so too at Cardiff. What have you made of the visitors?
Yeah, no, you know, they've been pretty good since they've been in BSR, full stop. But obviously they've managed to recruit really well. I think they're getting some pretty good support from the Welsh Rugby Union and those regions, and it's starting to show. You know, they've had a great start to the year, and you know they've beaten some pretty big teams, and you know they come here top of the table clash, and it's great to see.
And what is it that's changed at Loughborough? What about the home side? Because it's been since 2012, I believe, I heard Scott Stebbins say that you guys won some silverware in the men's division, but that looks like it could change this year.
Yeah, no, it's been a slow journey. You know, we've transitioned a lot of players and staff over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, but you know, since probably 2 years ago, we've really had a focus on BUCS Super Rugby in terms of making sure that we give students the best opportunity. You know, our National League programme helps that, but you know, BUCS Super Rugby now is a special thing, and you can see from the crowd tonight, you know, the brand of rugby that the competition is, but the way we want to play is pretty special. So you know, the last 2 years we've really focused on it, and I think we're starting to see the fruition of that. And Scott and his team have been a big part of that.
And Charlie Titcombe, he's a special player, 11 points and counting off of his golden boot. When did you first see him play rugby, and how special do you think he could be?
Yeah, you know, he's come through that sort of academy pathway and then came to us as a Tigers academy player, and you know, he's showing signs of that again. You know, he's a young player who's grown a lot since he's been here, and I think, you know, it's testament to the way he leads this team, and pretty much our attack system is based around him and his ownership. So you know, the fact he's owning that and is obviously rewarded with the contract with Worcester, which unfortunately has fallen away, but for me he's a class player, and you know, he's somebody that should be playing at the top level given the opportunity.
You've got a very broad remit here. You are director of rugby, a very prestigious and broad programme. Let's cast the net a little bit wider. Mario Pichardi playing for Spain, winning player of the match, and all across your programme there are people gaining international honours and flourishing in those test match arenas. Just how proud are you of the conveyor belt of talent that you seem to produce, and with a sustainable record too?
Yeah, no, for me that's what it's about. You know, we're working in the university sector. We're giving students and young aspirational players the opportunity to study, which is the most important piece. But the fact you can do that and play rugby at the highest level in a great tournament like this is huge. And you know, we've got some great stories in the past, and Mario's just another one. You know, and that's something that I'm really proud of, that they can do both. You know, seeing him go off and play international rugby and get man of the match in his first game is huge. And you know, I couldn't echo that testament enough. And you know, to see people aspire to that and get a good education at the same time is only the best thing.
I couldn't have you here and not ask you about the women who are playing in the other hemisphere just this weekend. Heartbreak for the Red Roses, but some of their superstars, Emily Scarrett, Sarah Hunter, Sadia Kabea, Helena Rowland, play for you week in, week out. Can I just get a word on what it meant to watch them flourish out there, even if they haven't come back with the medal colour that they wanted?
Yeah, it was obviously heartbreaking the way that transpired, but you know, we couldn't be any prouder. Individually, in terms of all their journeys, you know, Sarah in particular as a leader, she's been great for us as a servant for Loughborough. But how she led that team as well is incredible. And you know, to see somebody like Sadia and Moena on their journey at the start of it, and just incredible opportunity they've had to play Premiership rugby week in, week out, and to see them get the opportunity off the back of that, but more so to back it up at the international level. You know, I think some of the performances of those individuals have just been phenomenal, and you know, we're just hugely proud to help on their journey and support them to get where they are.
We've got someone like Sarah Hunter who's on about 600 caps, I think, at last count, and then people just starting out their journeys here today. Who in the side playing today should we be keeping a close eye on?
Oh, great question. You mentioned Charlie Tickham. You know, he's a great young player who's got an old head on his shoulders in terms of controlling the game, and he's got a great kicking game. You know, someone like Sam Kildunn, you know, he's got some real X factor when he gets the ball. People get excited. But generally, you know, the group itself, you know, we've recruited well. You know, Scott and Martin in particular have done a great job with recruitment, and we've got some really good depth of youngsters now. So, you know, the group, as we're seeing in terms of the table and the results, are doing really, really well. So, you know, pretty proud of all of them.
Just finally, from the sublime to the utterly ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen, and I dare say you've taken some offence at it if you have. So there is someone with a stuffed sheep on a blood-covered stick stood in the crowds on the bank over there. Ethanol Way is a bit of an amphitheatre when it comes to rugby. How much do you enjoy your Wednesdays striding around as director of rugby and seeing that actually the support is just as good as the sport itself?
I haven't seen that for that, but yeah, no, I mean, look at the crowd. I mean, you know, we're averaging about 1,500 to 2,000 people every Wednesday now. You know, it's an evening game. All the students are playing their sport over the day, and it's a place that people can congregate and watch some really good sport as well. So, you know, the fact that it's rugby and it's us put on a show, it's something that we're really proud of, and the boys love it as well. So, you know, playing in front of their mates is nothing better.
Got a pretty great job, Reece. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll go and let you get dry in this amphitheatre that is Ethanol Way, and we'll head back to Dave up in commentary. But before you go, one final thing. I just want to say all the very best on Sunday. You're heading to StoneX Stadium in the Premier 15s, home of the reigning champions for the Loughborough Lightning. Can't wait to see your girls get on.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. You know, against the defending champions with a young group of next generation of aspirational players. What better start?
100%. Thank you very much for your time, Reece. Take care.
Thank you.
Dave, back to you.
Thank you very much, Claire. Always great to hear from Claire. Always great to hear from Reece. And rugby fans, if you've stuck with us throughout half-time, just a reminder that Loughborough Lightning are headed to the StoneX. That game will be live streamable, as will Exeter Chiefs against Gloucester and Harlequins versus Worcester Warriors. So lots of Premier 15s rugby for you to get your teeth into this weekend, but lots of BUCS Super Rugby for you to get your teeth into for the rest of this evening. Cardiff are already back out in those black jerseys, trailing by 6 points, which will be a familiar story for them. You can see Owen Popple is coming on, wearing number 20. He's a back row replacement. He's played a lot of senior rugby with Pontypridd. What impressed you about Cardiff in the first half? They're still in the fight, but what do you think they did particularly well?
I think their efficiency. I think, well, the first two entries into the 22, they came away with points. Especially at this level, I think it's critical. I mean, everyone bangs on about red zone or gold zone efficiency, whatever respective teams call it, but to then actually go, especially away as well, and come away with points for the times you do enter the 22 is honestly, that's really impressive.
And what about Loughborough? What did you enjoy about them?
I think probably the game management. I think Charlie Tickham, really stepping up and just doing what he does best, and that's owning it, whether that's kicking to the corner, whether that's kicking off the tee. Just keep the scoreboard ticking over, especially in these tight games, is always crucial.
Well, the scoreboard currently reads Loughborough 16, Cardiff 10. Both of these teams looking to get back to winning ways. Loughborough defeated 36-35 at Bath last week. Cardiff drawing with Leeds Beckett away, which after wins against Exeter away, wins against Cardiff Met away, wins against Bath away, and a victory against Durham at home was perhaps a surprising result, but we constantly say that this league is full of surprises. Will we get another one here? Alfie Scopes leads Loughborough out for the second half. And I didn't tell you this before kick-off, but you're on man of the match duty tonight, so you've got lots of time, 75 minutes-ish. I don't want you to tell us who it is straight away. I want you to tease us, tell us who's played particularly well, but ultimately the decision lies with you. All good?
No pressure.
Second half underway, and it is Charlie Titcombe who gets it underway. Deep kick-off into the 22, and that's a first touch for Owen Popple, who's come on in the back row for Cardiff. They exited really well in the first half. Is it something they'll be able to do in the second? It's Ben Chapman who takes it in. Josh Thomas thinks about the box kick and then hooks it long. Reece Malone underneath it. And Malone sends the big man in. That's Fergus Dick, another positive carry. Another good carry through the gain line. Pedlar that time. Now Breers, options both ways. Finds Titcombe behind the halfway line. He's looking for the 50-22 and gets it. Fantastic kick from Titcombe. Spots the gap. Didn't force it at all and just nursed it into touch.
That man can stick a kick on a twopence.
Oh, in fact, it's not going to be the 50-22 because it was passed back in, back over the halfway line. So it is a good touch finder, good territorial touch finder, but it won't be Loughborough ball. Oh, and they've intercepted that line out though. Scopes gets his hand in. It's been another change for Loughborough as Pichardi is on, and Loughborough going up the blind side. Here's Scopes driving for the line, so close to the line, and great cover defence from Cardiff to stop another 5-pointer. Now Shrink grabs and goes 2 metres short for Loughborough.
It's available.
Ben Smith is the latest to go. Popple's on his knees making the tackle. The ball's gone backwards, but it has spewed out of the side. So Loughborough hitting the line again, it's knocked on. Oh, the second time Loughborough have lost the ball with the line begging. It was Agbonbon in the first half, it's Tussler in the second half, and the score remains 16-10.
I'll take that as commentator's curse, because I did mention in the first half the fact it wasn't raining, and now it is, so that ball is a bar of soap.
That was a lovely line from Tussler. How does this artificial surface play in the rain then? Is it greasy? Is it still good underfoot?
Well, the ball kind of just skids off it really, so I'd say it's quite a skiddy track in the rain. It's definitely not nicer when it's dry. You get less burns on your legs and everything.
Keep it up.
Well, all of Cardiff's potential receivers are the wrong side of the try line from their perspective, but Luke Pollock with another positive carry. Chris Preen is on for Loughborough. Now here's one for you. He's very early in his BSR career, but he went to Hurst Pierpoint School where he was coached by Simon Lilly, who is a former chairman of Loughborough Students RFC.
Great recruitment there.
Yeah, also pretty noisy stats, but I stand by them as Loughborough are on the march again. That's Ben Smith. Thinks about the tip, but takes it in instead as Breers digs and goes up the short side. Plenty of Cardiff defenders there, and that greasy ball proving a nightmare for Loughborough early on in this second half. Tom Capel. Oh, that's a big shot on him. But a fresher Capel.
Hold 1-9.
And he looks like a capable second row, back row at this level. And you won't miss him with that blonde hair either as Kildun glides through another tackle. Beautiful balance from Kildun as he's met by Chapman. Another cultured nudge from Titcombe. And Chase is back, and that takes an awkward bounce. Where's the chase coming from here? Oh, Titcombe does well in the end. They need to let him get up. Felix Gilbert all over the chase.
Leave the ball back. Thank you.
Luke Pollock's there too.
Okay, it's inside.
Decent take by Deventer, who's deep. Now Dumford. And Deventer's going to give chase. Titcombe waits. Options both sides, but again goes for that low kick into space.
Thank you. Backwards!
Not a great chase, but Dumford puts a real cannon of a right boot on that. Now Malone.
Outside.
Getting to the point.
Carried outside. Oh, sorry. He carried it outside when he hit it.
Well, I was going to say, we're getting to the point in the kick chase where the forwards give up in the middle of the park, but that is a mistake from Rhys Malone. And Cardiff and Ed Dunford win that kicking battle.
Yeah, it's always a game of small margins.
Cardiff, let's go, please.
Just looking at the spectators here,
Cardiff
there are a lot of light-coloured trousers. To be standing on a bank in this kind of rain, that's going to be a disaster for someone, at least one person.
Yeah, I feel like a few wardrobe malfunctions might be going on.
So Ben Chapman is getting dogs abuse from behind him. Oh, it's knocked on by Loughborough, and Cardiff get away with him.
Forwards off Loughborough. Scrum Cardiff.
It's a good attacking platform here for Cardiff, 5 minutes into the second half. You can hear Ben Wood's ref mic loud and clear now.
Last one was good. Same standard, okay? Thank you. Time off.
So these injury breaks, they're all part of the game now. You can see Jack there. He's the brilliant BUCS Super Rugby media guy. He does all of the great photos, puts the beautiful videos together. But he looks pretty miserable down there getting rained on, doesn't he?
He looks like he's just missing an umbrella at the moment.
Yeah. Oh. Cheer up, mate. I mean, he creates incredible content, but maybe that's the reason he's always behind the camera. He does a great job and we love him. What I was going to ask you was, in these kind of conditions here, when somebody goes down like that, is it a time to get some messages on to just sort of G the guys up? What's the kind of communication happening when you've got an unexpected break like that?
Yeah, it'll be a bit of a mixture. So messages will come on from the top, kind of just telling us maybe where they think we should look, but also sort of having micro chats with, you know, like backs as a unit or forwards as a unit to see where we can maybe be a little bit better or a bit more efficient.
Great scrum position here then for Cardiff. Ed Dunford waits at first receiver. No one obviously on the short side here for the visitors. Loughborough put the pump on. Is this going to come out the back? No, it's not. Deventer is going to get away from the first tackler and into the 22. He's dumped down, but it's quick ball for Thomas, who does go to Capel on the short side. Here's Popple. Loughborough driven off the ball, and Dunford waits again. The air of anticipation as he tries to put Pollock through a hole, and Pollock gets away from another tackler.
He's played the ball, he's played the ball.
Oh, Loughborough have pinched it.
First man,
Mario Picciardi, man of the match on international debut. Off the bench and makes an impact straight away. Not a great ball though. They're not going to need the scrum advantage.
Okay, first one's lost forward.
Oh, it's Cardiff's turn to be butterfingered with the try line beckoning. It was an awful ball for Titcombe to deal with. Oh, but will Cardiff be kicking themselves for not getting the 5-pointer?
Well, it's probably quite a good thing that the ball's greasy in that particular situation.
You're good at that. Okay, let's set
well, well, well. What an opportunity here for Cardiff. Owen Popple had a brilliant chance to get himself a meat pie. He might have an equally good one here. Options both ways for Cardiff. Dunford behind the scrum. Gilbert to his right. Luke Gray even further right. They've got Oscar Deventer as first receiver on the other side. Cardiff put in. Loughborough put the squeeze on last time. And they're going to go to the open side. Popped out the back to Ed Dunford. Brilliant cover tackle, Charlie Breers. That's a try saver, and he's forced the knock on.
No, he's being dragged by two.
Rain teeming down now on Epinal Way. And Breers is straight back on his feet and ready to clear the lines. Well, interestingly, he's kept that one on the pitch. So Cardiff can come again, sends that one high. Rydian Williams gives chase. but it's a bit too deep. And that's a good mark called.
Couple more.
That was definitely quite a good get out of jail free card there. But that's the kind of energy that Breezy really brings on the pitch. You can see it in his quick taps, you can see it in defence as well.
Well, they started another kicking battle here. Cardiff won the last one. Malone.
Inside the half.
He kicked it out on the full. He was looking for the 50-22 there, but it was well taken. Well, you can see the impact the rain is having. Everybody absolutely drenched.
Thanks, Jason.
And you can be honest here, because it's only me, you, and a good few thousand people watching. When the rain's teeming down like this, are you still happy to be not well? Would you still rather be out there, or are you happy to be next to me in the warm?
Oh, 100%. I'd still rather be out there.
Oh, it's bad weather for hamstrings, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible weather for hamstrings.
It's just about straight. Alfie Scopes gathers it. Here's Dick. Tackled by his opposite number, Popple. Both of those men look busy, don't they? Scopes. Now Breers. It's Bryn Davis in at first receiver. Popple over the ball. He's dragged forward Davis on the greasy surface.
Release tackle 5. Thank you.
Now Titcombe finds another big man on the short line. There's Davis, it's gone behind him. Titcombe recovers, so he'll be out of the attack, and Loughborough losing yards, so Breers. Oh, that's taken a touch off Rydian Williams, who's kept it in brilliantly.
Kept him filled, Jason. Okay.
Oh, and Pichardi nearly overran the chase, but managed to grab an ankle. No, this is about who manages the conditions best now. 10 pointless minutes so far in the second half.
Alfie, thank you. Use it now.
Although both teams with great opportunities to score. A knock-on over the line apiece, so it's effectively as you were, and that is a better clearance from Cardiff this time.
Well, just before that was a really good decent from Cardiff, getting off the line, getting under the ball, some good two-man shots in there, sort of neutralising the attack.
Set the space, okay, set the space.
No real rush to get that message between Davis and Plunkett. Pedlar. Titcombe, little chip into no man's land. Gets a kind bounce though, but it's still not an easy exit for Cardiff. Chapman's there. Thomas.
No, 6.
Good leg drive from Owen Popple. Smith called off it. Change at half-time, by the way. Pichardi on for Bonbon. Oh, that's a great take from Malone. Wow! He was being hunted down. And now Kildun.
Go, it's got to go.
Pollock finds his man. It's another good clearance, but how good was that from Reece Malone?
Yeah, that man is safe as houses under the high ball.
Oh, the chase that came in though, wow, he was under pressure there. Some serious wheels in that Cardiff back three. Gilbert, Bray, Williams. And the towel being put to good use. Colour-coded, you might know this, I don't know this. So African violet is the purple. What's the pink?
No.
I'm not actually too sure of what the name of the pink is.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if it's just a coincidence as well that the towel was sort of the same colour as the pink.
Same maul.
This is a great maul from Loughborough, marching into the Cardiff half, up to the 10, and then going up the short side as well.
Breakaway, leave one.
Ed Thompson called off it. Bryn Davis gets his head down. He's tackled by Adam Williams. Charlie Breers. What are these big Loughborough forwards taking the ball behind the gain line and having to really go to work as Mick Sharink is there. Titcombe sends that one high. The chase coming in from Sam Kildun.
front of the kicker.
Loughborough all in front of the kicker, and again, all of that pressure built up
In front of the kicker, leading
is
the chase.
released, and Cardiff now have the chance
Number 12 in front of the kicker, leading the chase.
to kick themselves into the Loughborough half.
Just a bit too eager there. Trying to get a good kick chase in, stay connected.
So I'm interested in Chris Preen. Not seen a right lot of him yet. However, this could be a game that suits him because he's centre cover, but he's a former back rower. He was called in late when Archie Keane got brought into the starting lineup when Nathan Pope went down with a hamstring injury.
Thank you.
You and him, hammy club
On the
together.
edge, please, Alfie.
Yeah.
But
having rehab together is always
Cardiff
fun,
numbers.
especially with Popey. There's never a dull day
Number
when there's rehab
7.
with Popey.
Over comes Ed Thompson. Incredible achievement for him. Became part of a select few with 50 BUCS Super Rugby appearances last week at Leeds Beckett. This is Chapman on the wraparounds, and then Thomasin at first receiver. Oh, Pollock tries to get away again, just always gets over the gain line. He's so consistent. And here's Luke Bray back against the grain. Pollock again on the crash ball. Gets through the first defender. That was Joe Plunkett. Now Thompson gets met by Scopes, who's been brutal in defence, the Loughborough lock. Williams. Another big shot. Dunford looking to make things happen. Pops that out of the back, and Felix Gilbert trips over a teammate. Dunford again. Little tip on. Charlie Breer's called into defensive action. Another superb turnover, even with both feet off the ground, and Ben Smith has been a menace at the breakdown.
Okay, thank you.
That man is an
Let's have a
absolute
1-12.
breakdown
Okay,
nose.
thank you.
He loves it.
Holding on.
After training, he's always trying to grab anyone he can to, oh, do you want to do breakdowns? Do you want to do breakdowns? But I can understand why now.
How many times has he asked you, and how many times have you said yes? Do you want to do breakdowns with him?
He's asked me quite a few times, and I've had to politely kind of turn him down pretty much every time.
Oscar De Venter getting a little talking to from referee Ben Wood there.
Sorry, number off, Jason, thank you.
I think for his acts around the breakdown there, I think he was lifting the legs of Ben Smith.
Talking about a good D set from Cardiff just there. That was a cracking D set from Loughborough.
And they are back in the Cardiff half. A lot of this game is being played in that middle third as Ben Smith on the crash ball. Fergus Dick inside line is Joe Plunkett looking for try number 2, but he's brought down. Gwilym Evans is over it, and anything Ben Smith can do, Gwilym Evans can do too. Oh, Joe Plunkett, his eyes lit up there, and he thought he was in for meat pie number 2.
Yeah, I think he just had the handbrake up slightly there.
Holding on number 7 on the ball.
Yeah, there's another gear there somewhere, Plunkett.
Is that Sanders on? We're in 23.
Yeah, looks like Preen's come on as well for Tussler.
So changes in the back line. Another great opportunity for Loughborough, but 17 minutes into the second half and still no score.
Lads, numbers loud and early,
Loughborough
please.
16, Cardiff 22.
Yeah, thanks you. We're just going to hold for threes late.
And just a reminder, if I hadn't bored you with it enough times, Cardiff so far this season, a 17-all draw, a 1-point win over Bath, a 3-point win over Met, 8-point win over Durham, 4-point loss to Hartbury, and 2-point win over Exeter. They get close. How close are they going to get to Loughborough here, and what side of the scoreline are they going to be on? I think we've got some full-time scores coming in as well from around the leagues. Here's Sanders. We're in 23 in the red scrum cap. Bryn Davis. Talking about him being a light loose head, what that does mean is his conditioning is spot on. Ben Smith, who is emptying the tank out there as we approach the hour.
3 roll. 7 you are fine, but 3 has to move.
Now, Adam Williams gives away the penalty.
7 is good over the ball, but 3
chance to kick for the posts here and make it a 9-point lead. Is that the right decision?
Yeah. Definitely the right decision there from Titcombe.
Look,
good game management.
About half time.
Trying to get the first points of the half as well.
Can't reward him if the attacker isn't out the way first. For me, it's the effectiveness of the clear out. That's why we've penalised it.
Lovely bit of communication there. Luke Pollock asking the question, Ben Wood giving the answer. Full-time scores then as Titcombe looks to extend the lead. In fact, I'll wait till the kick's gone over. So just the one blemish on the copybook of that man. And this feels like an important one because neither team has led by more than a converted try this evening at Epinal Way. Rain continues to pour, but this very kickable for Titcombe. But the flag stayed down. That's 6 points he's left out there. And the score remains Loughborough 16, Cardiff 10. And what I can tell you is that Exeter have got a bonus point win against Swansea at Topsham. That's finished by 31 points to 16.
He needs to be good enough to realise if the player's in the way. For me.
And it's another defeat for Durham. Cardiff met 27, Durham 13. And they are finding the defence of their league title tough going. The boys in Palatinate. Is that Dunford? Has he just sent a spiral drop kick? Got to respect it.
Hold them up, please, gents.
I love a spiral. I tell you what, we had a brilliant one in the Cardiff Met game the other week. In fact, it was off Hartbury's outside half as Loughborough go quickly here and send the kick skyward. Here comes the chase. This will be fun. Oh, it's a brilliant take by Rydian Williams. Oh, that's good. Yeah, in fact, we showed it on the replays. It was so good. Crossfield bomb, Kildun underneath it. Looks pretty comfortable. Then goes to work again, but he's chased well, and Cardiff sniffing around the turnover. Ball is spewed out, and how has that ended up in the hands of Luke Bray? Illegally, that's how.
Play on the ball. Play on the floor, play on the ball.
So much in this middle third.
Yeah, game's really started to come to life. I mean, I'm going to be honest. The quality of the back three for both sides tonight in the rain has been electric. Some of the grabs under the high ball, some of the broken field counter attack has been top notch.
Well, 15 minutes, and I need a player of the match from you, and it looks like it's going to be in the balance as well. So good luck with that. Plunkett finds the man again, and the maul goes to work. And there is Plunkett taking his place at the back. Ball in the right hand, and this moving forward well for Loughborough. Started well outside the 22, and Plunkett still going. Needs to work its way to the back somehow. But it's still with Plunkett.
Advantage.
And an advantage coming too, so a free go at it here for Loughborough. Look at Sam Kildun adding his ample 80-something kilos to that maul. Oh, and a card. A card is coming for Gwilym Evans. He's changed his mind. So with 20 minutes to go, Cardiff are going to spend 10 of them with 14 on the park.
Please, lads, set on the line, please.
And it is one of their key back rowers. Gwilym Evans, the vastly experienced. And that's a statement of intent. 3 easy points on offer, and Loughborough go for the corner.
Yeah, I think when you're in the driving seat of game management like Titcombe there, and you've just seen your maul roll a good 15-20 metres, I think you got to back the drill from five out.
Well, Cardiff don't send anybody up, and Loughborough go to work. Plunkett has the ball at the back. They're over like a knife through Welsh butter. Loughborough extend the lead.
Was about to say Plunkett with white line fever again, but it looks like Ben Smith dotted that one down.
Well, that is a try that his performance has deserved, Ben Smith. He has been exceptional this evening. And Loughborough's maul has been pretty solid all season, and on nights like tonight, in games like this, that shows how important it is.
Yeah, he's always reliable. Come rain or shine, you can can always count on him being over the breakdown, being at the back of a driving maul.
Well, there's more rain than shine at the moment. And this a healthy lead for Loughborough now. Just the 2 tries, but 11 points, and Titcombe to make it 13. Oh, he's missed another one. That is 8 points he has left out there now. And 29-10 looks a lot more comfortable than 21-10.
Yeah, it's always it's always good when there's that kind of the added extras on the scoreboard, but sometimes you can't really help it.
There will still be belief in this Cardiff team. There has been belief all season. They've gone away to Cardiff Arms Park, to Sandy Park, and got results. And there's still time to add Loughborough University as one of the scalps that they've claimed this season in BUCS Super Rugby. But the next time they get a chance, they're going to have to take it. "15 minutes to go. 10 minutes until we find out who the man of the match is." Cardiff over the ball. Cardiff over the ball and winning the penalty. Oh, they needed that. And it's Owen Popple winning it too.
21st player on ball.
Really capitalise on these key moments to get themselves back in the game, whether that's a penalty or whether that's points. Really efficient from Cardiff.
Well, what do they do here? There's still time on the clock. They're yet to score in the second half. And Ed Dunford is going to nudge for the corner.
Thank you, Jason. On the line, Loughborough. Thank you.
It's a good kick as well. He's taken them to 5 metres. And Loughborough mauled Cardiff to death. What have Cardiff got in response? Oh, this is a massive chance. Chapman still on. Wonder if we might see some changes in the front row soon for the visitors. They find Capel. And the maul goes to work. The maul looks good as well. But Loughborough drive it back. What a defensive effort from Loughborough, but now it comes forward. There are purple hands on it.
Leave it.
And Loughborough called off it, so Cardiff going to have to do it the hard way. The hard way through Tom Capel. He's backed up by Deventer. Pollock wants it, but instead it's Chapman. Posts, try line in sight here for Cardiff. Chop tackle on Thompson. Another pick and another go and another big tackle from a man in African violet. Now there's the width. Luke Pollock hits the line. What a tackle! And it's spilled forward. Oh, what a chop tackle on Luke Pollock. And another chance goes begging for Cardiff.
It's an unreal chop tackle from Titcombe there.
Lost forward by Black.
Slight sigh of relief there in the commentator's box.
Let's take another look at this. That was when it was spewed forward. But Luke Pollock, one of the most confident ball carriers in BUCS Super Rugby. And Charlie Titcombe at 10, putting in a try saver.
Textbook stuff from Titcombe.
Well, how many times are we going to see these teams blow opportunities? Metres, less than metres, centimetres from the line. It's been a change at scrum half for Cardiff. George McDonald's on, product of Narberthar FC.
Take your space, hold your space.
Director of rugby at Cardiff, Alan Flower, used to play with his dad.
Space.
But he's got a good running game, different dynamic to Josh Thomas. Is he going to find some space here?
Binds. Set.
He's got just over 10 minutes to make a difference, but Breers is still on for Loughborough. He's had an excellent game, and that is an excellent scrum. That is how you relieve the pressure, and listen to that response from the Epinal Way faithful.
That's absolutely cracking, especially in the well, you're under the pump. Scrum could have very easily gone. Well, in those positions, you can easily see that go against you, and then you're back under the pump yourself. So that's an absolute, that's a monstrous scrum
on the edge for
the boys.
Well, I was telling you about Luke Pollock earlier, wasn't I? being a capped Northern Ireland volleyball player, and apparently none of the boys at Cardiff University knew that. So I'm so stoked to just bring you these nuggets on BUCS Super Rugby.
It's quite a niche bit of trivia.
He actually won his cap here at Loughborough as well. Manager of that team was the global face of Northern Ireland volleyball, Kerry Kirkpatrick, who will be absolutely fuming that I've mentioned that. She was my source of the information, but as we've seen tonight, Luke Pollock, serious player, serious athlete, seriously close to a try that brought Cardiff back into this game, but the score remains Loughborough 21, Cardiff 10. Cardiff back on the ball though through Luke Bray, who gets melted in the middle of the park. It's George McDonald with his first touch. And Pedler making a tackle there. The two locks for Loughborough have been brutal in defence this evening.
Yeah, they've just been so good, been so quick to set, so good off the line, been good at getting under the ball as well, which really helps control the hit.
Malone, good under the high ball once more. Searching kick. But Gilbert returns. Titcombe underneath it. Goes at it left-footed this time. Deventer. Oh, it's a heavy kicking game. And there'll be some heavy legs out there from the chasing too. As Titcombe looking for the 50-22. Where does it bounce? Oh, it sits up quite nicely. And that's a good bit of footwork. And another good chase. God, Ben Smith. I tell you what, that is a decent kick under pressure too. So 5 minutes till man of the match. Let's not give the game away yet, but players from both teams, who's impressed you this evening? Let's have a couple of names.
Well, I think you just mentioned the man there, Ben Smith. I think he's been unreal over the ball. Fergus Dick has been brutal in carries.
Thank you.
And then Owen Popple for Cardiff has also been absolutely brutal running onto the ball. And then all three of their back three have been very good under the high ball and very good in broken play. And obviously Luke Pollock as well has been making gain line on every single carry he's made tonight.
Sorry, it's behind, yeah. So
it's a confirmation from the referee there. 9 minutes to go. Cardiff need two scores.
Alfie, just a heads up that the clock is wrong. Okay, we've got 9 minutes left. Yeah.
A penalty won't be enough for a losing bonus point, so they need a try to come away with something. And that looks like it's Joe Plunkett's race run. Try for him today. Could have been two, but that's a decent 70 minutes for the hooker.
Yeah, he's do you know what, he's been on pretty good form recently. Both, well, training, on pitch as well. But yeah, it was that's an unbelievable stint from him. Get through 70 minutes in the front row.
Well, it's not a clean throw from Isaacs, but it finds its target. He's an interesting one. He's moved from tight head to hooker via the back row. He's about 20 kilos lighter than he was before. Former England under-18 as well. Good work rate, and he is in the armchair on the back of a pretty effective maul here for Loughborough.
Okay, use it now.
Breers still on. Sends Fergus Dick into the cold face. Titcombe takes a step back. He's not interested in the next couple of phases at least. Ben Smith gets missed out as Titcombe sends a searching bomb up. This is a real challenge. It's gone backwards off Cardiff. Chris Preen doesn't get a touch on it, but applies the pressure. Now he's over the ball, Preen. Oh, that's brilliant from Chris Preen, and that is a centre who used to play back row. Oh no, that's Will Sanders, isn't it? Oh, see, they've switched the numbers on me. Big up Will Sanders making the turnover instead.
Yeah, he's that man is an absolute animal when it comes to kick chase. It's almost like his bread and butter, and that was, well, that's Colonel at his best.
And again, to come on and do something like that, given that he was probably a bit disappointed not to be starting tonight. I know he takes his place in this team very seriously. To come on and win a turnover off a great kick chase like that, he'll be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, he will be as well, and I think he's also a really good team player. So I think, you know, he'll realise that when he comes off the bench, he's just got to kind of do what he's renowned for doing really well, and that's kick chase, and he's just done it there. Managed to get a penalty and kick to the corner.
What he is going to have is a lecture off me for swapping his shirt with Chris Preen, but that is a conversation for later on. Another great opportunity here for Loughborough to perhaps put this game to bed. Alfie Scopes. And the maul goes to work. Isaacs is there at the back. It's going towards the try line. Not looking great for Cardiff. It is looking great for Loughborough. It's try number 3. It's Ben Smith again. He appears with the ball. That shaggy head of hair. 2 meat pies for him. The Loughborough maul in great shape. And it's looking like the difference maker between them and Cardiff tonight.
Yeah, it really is. Marv's going to be bouncing up and down on the roof, absolutely ecstatic with the way that the maul and the scrum's gone tonight. But to be fair, those boys that 8 on the field, both whether they've come off the bench or started, have put in a cracking shift tonight for that scrum and maul.
Loughborough 26, Cardiff 10. All eyes now on whether or not Loughborough can get that 4th try for the bonus point. They will be top of the league tonight, but by how many points? They were level with Cardiff on 22. Unless something pretty miraculous happens, Cardiff will remain on 22. And Loughborough will move to either 26 or 27. Cardiff met with a bonus point victory. That takes them up to 26. So Loughborough will be top on points difference. Bath with a bonus point as well, so they're on 25. Keeping the heat up. It is tight at the top of the table.
Makes for really good viewing.
Oh boy, does it. We love this league. So Cardiff now chasing a lost cause. They need 2 scores to get a losing bonus point, but they have got the ball here, and George MacDonald, with a scrum advantage, looks to build a platform.
Back.
That's James Pollard in the red scrum cap. He's on in the front row. Gloucester Rugby contracted player.
Player roll first. 19 is fine, but the player needs to roll first. With the black
A penalty here, but they're going to have to go, and George MacDonald does exactly that. Looks for the short ball, finds Owen Popple, one of those players that you highlighted as a potential player of the match candidate. Here's Chapman, looking like he's going to go 80 minutes. He is a modern-day hooker. MacDonald.
Back.
Tip back volleyball style by Dunford. Obviously Luke Pollock's been teaching him. And then Gilbert chases back. He's under pressure. Next stoppage then. We'll have your man of the match.
Leave it now.
There is Preen with the tackle in the red scrum cap. Matching boots as well. Attention to detail, I respect that.
16.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time in front of the mirror, so I think that's probably planned from him.
Well, that's been knocked on. And here is Sanders on the wing. I think Loughborough would rather the scrum here.
Tackle was complete, holding.
No, penalty to Cardiff. Well, we're going to have a little bit of time as this ball goes to touch. So take your time, pump up the tyres, and tell us who tonight's BUCS Super Rugby man of the match is.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a couple of names thrown in the ring there. I think Pollock's been unreal in gain line carries. I also think that Popple off the bench has been good as well. But I'm going to go with my man of the match as Ben Smith. He scored 2 tries. He's been an absolute menace or a nuisance at every single breakdown. He's been putting some pretty good shots as well. So I think it would probably be a disjustice to not give it to him.
Congratulations to him, well deserved. Couple of tries. Also nice to see a back rower scoring maul tries as well. You see it with the South African teams in URC. Here in BUCS Super Rugby and in the Premiership, it tends to be the hookers, but Ben Smith, well-deserved man of the match.
Off the boot for me to a playing on.
He's an interesting one because he's not been playing at this level for a huge amount of time either, is he? His brother Johnny was player of the match in the... Oh, what's that tournament in Ipswich that you all get excited about? As MacDonald goes at the blind side but puts a foot in. St Joe's, isn't it?
Yep.
Johnny was player of the tournament at St Joe's. He's at Harlequins at the moment, getting a bit of Prem Cup action, but the light tonight is being shone on Ben. There is an anonymous member of the Loughborough coaching staff that I will not disclose my sources, but describes him as a massive rugby nose who absolutely loves code. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think rugby nose is probably quite appropriate to describe Smithy. He not too long ago he was actually playing hockey here, and he's kind of switched performance sports from hockey to rugby, and well, he's absolutely carving up.
Well, he looks like some athlete. 2 tries, couple of big turnovers, and turnovers in key areas of the pitch as well. Defensively inside the 22.
Key parts of the game as well.
Okay, let's use it.
So Tom Miles is on to complete the game at scrum half for Loughborough after a great stint from Charlie Breers.
Backwards off purple.
Backwards off purple, not forwards off Cardiff, says the referee. So George McDonald can give the ball to Popple. And now Cardiff can try and run the legs off it. They're running out of time here, and Rhys Evans can only find touch. Sanders goes quickly.
Okay,
Wes McCall knocks it on.
Thank you. Your mark here.
That's great scramble D from Colonel there. Great acceleration from Popple as well to get on the outside of a winger.
But also, quick line out to your tight head's a fun one, isn't it?
Yeah, keeping the game interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're counting down to full time here as that's overthrown at the line out. Loughborough's set piece has been pretty good today, and Chapman takes another good carry. Stick with us at full time as Cardiff win another penalty, and McDonald goes quickly. McDonald goes really quickly. Lovely stop and go from him, and Preen makes a good tackle. Oh, good offload from Cardiff, and Pollock drives into the heart of Loughborough again. Really has had a great game. Ben Smith over the ball. Oh, but he's knocked it on. It could have been another turnover. We'll be hearing from Ben Smith at full time. Scott Snedden will be down there as well. Claire is going to brave the rain. Tell you what, Claire, I've got an umbrella for you there. Treat yourself real nice. But also, it's on record that I've just given you my umbrella, so...
Good mark here, lads.
So yeah, stick with us because it'll be great to hear from them.
Yeah, apologies, lads. Thank you.
As the clock ticks towards 80 minutes on what has been a highly entertaining second half, and I think the most pleasing thing for Loughborough will be the most disappointing thing for Cardiff, the fact that the visitors haven't added a point in the second 40.
Yeah, I think that's going to be massive. The messages at half time would have obviously been let's try and nil them. I think we've done that by good discipline and just playing in the right areas of the field, especially getting turnovers in the right area of the field, thanks to that man Ben Smith.
Well, our clock is now on 80. It's down to the referee.
Does the new man come on for 9? Oh, he's on his way. I can see him now. Thank you. Great, thank you.
A couple of final changes being made. And just looking at the pack there, huge credit to Ed Thompson and Ben Chapman, those veterans of this Cardiff team. 80-minute stints at loose head and hooker. That is no mean feat.
Keep it slow, space and height.
Yeah, especially when you've got your half-backs and your back three playing kick tennis with each other.
Binds.
Last chance to end on a high then for Cardiff. And in it comes, Josh Thomas back on the pitch. Good scrum from Loughborough, but it does come back Ed Dunford's way. Oh, decent line, but just lost his feet off the Luke Pollock pass. Scrappy ball, Cameron Scott. He's off the bench. He was another one of that experienced team that went to the Swansea.com stadium last year. Pollock, Dunford's lost his jersey as he limps back into place. Slow ball now. Pollard gets met. Josh Thomas. Decent ball, decent tackle. Oh, Popple gets driven back over the 22.
First player took the ball.
It's a great two-man shot there.
And they've turned the ball over, so maybe a last chance at a bonus point try here for Loughborough students. And they're looking to put some width on it. Here we go. Here's Preen, and now Sam Kildun backs himself before slipping over and doing really well. Ben Chapman was covering. Penalty Loughborough. Felix Gilbert off his feet. Now, how about a kick to the corner and a maul for a Ben Smith hat-trick?
I would love to see it. I really would. As much as he would probably keep banging on about it for, the rest of time itself, it would be nice to get the bonus point.
Okay, lads. Thanks. It's last play, yeah.
A confirmation that it is the last play. Last chance for Loughborough to get the try bonus, the 5-pointer that would see them top of the league outright. If not, they will end the day level on points with Cardiff Met, who got a 27-13 win over Durham. Exeter 31-16 winners. No real shocks in BUCS Super Rugby today. And that is a good line out. Smith is in there. Isaacs is in there too. This more sideways than forwards, but now it starts to go for Loughborough. It is the last play. Tom Miles sniffing around it. Ben Chapman told not to change his bind.
Once. Stay bound.
Oh, it's moved once. It's 5 metres short for Loughborough, who are going to fully commit to this and go for that bonus point score.
Okay, let's use it now.
Tom Miles is going to have to use it. Oh, no, he's not!
Ben Smith.
Because it is a Ben Smith hat-trick. The last play of the game, the man of the match, secures the bonus point for Loughborough students. It is a perfect night at Epinal Way for those in African Violet. And for the first time this season, Cardiff University leave an away trip empty-handed.
I feel like you couldn't really write it the way that Ben Smith was hanging onto the back of that maul.
Well, this is a real statement victory from Loughborough. And I said it at the top of the show. They, more than any other team in this league, have been able to put teams to the sword. 29-19 against Exeter, 35-5 against Nottingham, 41-17 Swansea, 54-14 against Leeds. Beckett, that's hit both beans on toasts. And despite the fact that Charlie Titcombe hasn't had his kicking boots this evening, it is 5 points in the bag for Loughborough students against second place Cardiff University. Full time, Loughborough 31, Cardiff 10.
That's absolutely massive. That's massive, not only in terms of the top of the table clash, but in terms of sort of getting back on track, especially after that narrow Bath loss, 2 weeks ago now.
What I think is absolutely fascinating is the fact that since the first game of the season, where Durham got the bonus point and Loughborough got nothing, they lost to Bath but got 2 points. They haven't conceded a try bonus or a losing bonus point in any of those 5 victories this year.
That's quite a good stat. Yeah, no, I think boys have seriously kind of switched on, especially after that Durham loss. I think we kind of didn't want to follow the footsteps of some of the errors that we made last season, and yeah, it's really good that we managed to kind of rectify that.
It's easy to focus on the winners, and at 31-10, that'll be a very, very happy group of Loughborough students players. What about Cardiff University then? Because they got bullied in the set piece today, but there is plenty to like about this Cardiff team. Good players, they play good rugby, and even though they've been on the end of a bad scoreline tonight, you can see how they've given so many top teams hell this year.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's cliche and it's kind of, you know, everyone says, oh, it's a game of two halves and whatnot, but I think where Cardiff maybe slightly slipped down in the second half was just being clinical. And you know what, they were absolutely dogged. They stuck at it for the full 80. They were so good. And yeah, like you said, so many positives. Indeed, getting off the line, getting good two-man shots, forcing the ball to be kicked back to them, having great counter-attacking play, but just yeah, it's kind of falling short at the end.
Well, when the weather turned, Loughborough turned up. Let's have a look at some of the best bits of the match then. It was so tight in the first half. Charlie Titcombe put Loughborough ahead, and then when Cardiff scored this try, did look like we might have a real game on our hands. We've talked about it already, but this pass to miss out those two players, and it's a brilliant finish. As an outside back yourself, you love running onto ball like that.
Yeah, honestly, I would be straight over to Brizzy or Tom Tars after that, saying thank you very much for almost putting it on a plate for me.
Well, that was Rydian Williams with the opening try. Interestingly for Loughborough, so much is made of the 4G track here and how it's great for running rugby, but this was where they really excelled. It was Joe Plunkett who got the first try after some hard graft, and just watch for the little pop pass here to Mick Shrink to just give him a little bit more space infield. But Plunkett still with a little bit of work to do. This was after, of course, Tamora Bonbon had nearly scored the individual try of the week, only to spew it up after celebrating.
Yeah, absolutely criminal. You know, definitely can't celebrate if you cross the whitewash, so doing it 5 metres out and still not scoring is heinous.
Well, the maul had worked well in midfield, and Loughborough resorted to type, didn't they? It was Ben Smith when he'd already taken control of the game, but he took control of the ball at the back of the maul. I mean, we don't flankers score hat-tricks very often, but this one wasn't from many metres cumulatively, was it?
No, it was definitely a lot of short-range efforts, but that just goes to show, firstly, how well the maul has been working, but secondly, how powerful that man is as well.
Then right at the end, Cardiff thought they were going to score and get the last laugh, but Loughborough won the penalty from a great turnover, and again they went to the maul, and it was Ben Smith who got his hat-trick. He'd already been awarded man of the match, and we will be hearing with Claire. And in fact, we're going to have a look at the final try here, because he just found himself a little hole to poke his nose through, didn't he?
Yeah, quite a big man. He is pretty slippery, especially around the maul. Yeah, keeps his feet well there and manages to get a good 2 explosive steps in to cross the whitewash.
Yeah, Reece Malone was there as well. First one to congratulate him, because that's an important try as well, isn't it? When you're in a tight league like this, if you can pick up those bonus points, they can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's well, every point helps, whether that's points difference or being top of the table.
Well, James, it has been great to have your company this evening. Really enjoyed it, and good luck with the rehab. Looking forward to seeing you back out there. You did select the man of the match. That's Ben Smith. We're going to be hearing from him and Scott Snedden, because Claire Thomas has tracked them down.
I have indeed, Dave. And in fact, Ben, your temporary award for being player of the match is you get to hold this umbrella for me and shelter us both for 2 minutes or so. While we were chatting, you were getting waved at by a couple on the side, and your dad and your uncle have come down to cheer you on. They're filming right now. I think there could be a live or live stream taking place somewhere. They've filmed the whole of our conversation here as I stand here with hat-trick hero and player of the match, Ben Smith. We'll talk about the result and the wider significance of that in a moment, but how much did that sweeten the result tonight that you managed to bag yourself a hat-trick and in such hideous conditions?
Yeah, well, I don't get on the score sheet often, so grabbing a hat-trick was good. I took the skipper who's out injured, Teddy's tactics at the back of the maul, just not giving it to the hooker and just going over yourself, so yeah, cheers Ted.
What did you think at the end of that half-time interval when you came back out, the heavens opened? Was there a moment of realisation that the game plan would have to change?
Yeah, we just said at half-time we've got to be a bit more physical in defence, get off the line, 2 two-man shots and just tighten it up and just let Titcombe, Reece and Charlie, our 9, just kick the ball and just play in the right areas. So yeah, that was the plan.
Well, the result, especially given that it has become a bonus point win, means that you are now sat pretty at the top of that table. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's a long way to go, but yeah, it's a big game off the back of Bath last week, which we were a bit disappointed with. So yeah, good to get a win against second in the league or joint top. So yeah, really pleased.
And a team that were undefeated on the road up until this evening. That's a big old scalp to take. Yeah. Do you think if this season goes well, if all goes according to plan, you'll look back on tonight as a significant victory?
Yes, for sure. Every week's tough, but yeah, hopefully come the end of the season, yeah, it'll mean a lot, so yeah.
Just standing on a very soggy sideline speaking to a couple of spectators and talking about the Ethanol Way faithful, and he said, well, to be fair, there's nothing else to do in Loughborough apart from watch the rugby, but please put a positive spin on that. What does it mean to have them down here cheering you on, because they were really vocal?
Yeah, they were fantastic. They come down wind, rain and shine, so yeah, it's fantastic to see them every Wednesday, well, every other Wednesday and every other Saturday supporting the boys. Yeah, fantastic.
Hartbury next week, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it'll be physical down there, especially this time of year. It'll probably be quite slow. Is it away?
You are away, yes.
Yeah, it'll be probably a bit slow, but yeah, we just have to front up and deal with their forwards and then let the backs do their thing.
Well, hopefully you get the result there and you can have the boss journey home that you deserve after a fantastic performance tonight. I'll let you go see your incredibly proud family members. I'm going to pinch the brolly back, I'm afraid. Yes, yeah. But congratulations on a huge performance.
Brilliant.
And 15 points to boot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's see if we can find Scott Snedden. Right, got a bit of an adventure together through Ethanol Way. There's happy faces absolutely everywhere. You know, I don't even need this anymore. The rain is easing up. Let's see if we can find their head coach.
Scott.
Let's see. We found Scott Snedden. This has been exciting, hasn't it? Scott, do you mind coming on over and having a quick word with us?
No problem at all.
Thanks. Lovely. A hat-trick for your back rower. I said he pinched Teddy's tip of being at the back of the maul and just being in that perfect opportunistic poacher's position. But actually, his performance was about a lot more than those 3 tries. What a magnificent back row display.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. His nickname is Passion. He probably showed that around the park today. But I think, like defensive breakdown, I think he got 4, maybe 5 turnovers at crucial times, some of those. And he carried with a lot of intent. So... he's a very good footballer, and up until 18 months ago, his first sport was hockey. Wow. So he's a good games player. He could go far.
Chalk and cheese, first and second half. What did you say at half-time? It clearly worked.
We just said we weren't accurate and we didn't stick to the plan in the first half. It was pretty quiet in the changing rooms. We knew that we probably had to grind Cardiff down. It was the same here last year. It was 6-6 at half time. They're a good side, and things don't come easy. So we were hoping, and it proved that sort of last 20-30 minutes of the second half, we managed to probably be a little bit more accurate.
You did bagel them in the second 40 as well, and we're always hearing in sport that attack wins games but defence wins championships. You've not conceded a try bonus point in this competition. You've got the most stingy defence in the league. What does that mean to you?
I think it's important. I think I guess that this league is full of high scoring games, and it's important that. If that goes all through the season, you're probably right, you don't win championships. But we're not looking at that. We take it game by game, and if we can have the opposition go away with, no bonus points, then it's a positive. It's something good for us.
And just finally, Ben Smith's nickname might be Passion, but it felt like there was resolve across the park from your players today, and actually the supporters coming down, the evident pride of Rhys Edwards at half-time. There's a special thing going on at Loughborough right now. How exciting is it to be a part of it? And as each week rolls by, how tangible does the result at the end of the season start to feel?
If I'm honest with you, we'll look at Hartpury next week. We won't look at the end of the season. Hartpury away is going to be tough, and like I've probably said to you before, we'll review this Friday. We'll just take a game as it comes. If people outside of our squad get excited, I'm sure there's going to be those doubters as well. So what we can control is what goes on within our group, and we'll just look at Hartpury next week.
Well, Scott, we'll let you go and dry off and celebrate with the rest of your team. Many congratulations. We look forward to seeing how you go next week.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
Well, we'll just spin around and have a look at the crowd waiting on here. Cardiff players and Loughborough players celebrating, commiserating. It's been a topsy-turvy evening. Quite a low-scoring affair, but a real arm wrestle as we have come accustomed to in this fantastic, fantastic league. So just to bring you up to speed, fingers in ears if you don't want any spoilers, wins tonight for Cardiff Met, Hartpury, Exeter, Bath, and a bonus point victory for Loughborough, who sit pretty in African Violet at the top of the table. It is close, but there are some front runners just starting to emerge as the halfway mark of the season draws near. We'll be back again next week with another live stream, so don't you go anywhere. Triumph in the end for Loughborough, a top of the table clash. Not quite the conditions to go with it, but some moments of magic. A hat-trick for a beaming Ben Smith, who I believe is with Uncle and Dad over there. And BUCS Super Rugby delivering yet again. See you soon.